Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here in Baku, of all places, Azerbaijan, for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And it is the 15th round of the 100% season. And we're looking forward to seeing this one as well. Then we'll hopefully get ourselves through 51 laps of this circuit as well. Then as we get ourselves loaded into the lobby. Sorry, give me 1 second. Get you all my telemetries up then. And here we are then, round 15 of the third season of the 100% League. And potentially it could be the end of the 100% league as well. Then we'll have to wait and see. But that is just lingering thoughts then at the moment. But we'll wait and see. Then, of course, we're going to have to first get through the action-packed scenes of the streets of Baku first. So we're looking forward to seeing how it's going to fare. For the 20 drivers, we're going to have one driver joining in a few minutes as well. Then just getting themselves sorted. But there we go. They're going to have a nice full grid then. And there we are, ready to get started. Oh dear, I need to turn the volume down so I can get the stream up. And there we are. Good stuff indeed. Right. Here we are. Well, we've got Andy then who said, evening all. And R2 Beat as well then. Good luck all as well then. Andy just said, just checking. Air traffic control are in here to keep an eye on the low flying controllers from Sean. Well... He is in the car, so yeah, we can't rule anything out. But there we are then. We have got themselves, everyone's loaded in, I think, now. Good stuff, ready to get started here in Baku. 51 laps for this 100% Grand Prix. It is going to be interesting. Let's just say it. Let's just leave it at that. Let's just put it that way. I think the lowest finishes we had, I think it was in... a bronze season 3, I think it was, maybe, or season 4. It was 6 finishes in a Grand Prix. I'm hoping that we can get 10 at least tonight, but of course it is a bit of a difficult circuit, especially if the concentration lapses at certain points of the Grand Prix. A wall will definitely be there to claim you, let's just put it that way. Right then, we're going to set us out on track then. So Equaz leads the championship then in the Williams, and there's been a couple of team changes, well, team changes from last round, not team changes from last round really, they were changed before the Italian Grand Prix last week. Sorry, it was it was the Italian Grand Prix last week. Goodness me. So yes, so some team changes to go through. Well, team changes that from the last round, from before the last round, so to go through. So Equaz leads the way in the Williams in the championship standings for the drivers. That is, R2 Pete has moved from the Aston Martin to the Alpine then, and he is still in P2 of the championship standings by only, I think it's only about 5 or 6 points then to Equaz. It is not far away then. Gordo in P3 in the Aston Martin in the top of the order then for the championship. Of course, Aston Martin and Williams and now Alpine are all fighting for the constructors as well then. As Gordon said, hola and good luck all. And ALR is a bit further away then. We're in the Caspian, or on the Caspian border now is Azerbaijan. Not now, it has been all the time, but Caspian border then for this Grand Prix, so a bit farther away from the Spanish scene. And of course we'll be heading towards the Spanish scene then later on in the calendar as we go towards the likes of Mexico. Brazil speaks Portuguese, doesn't it? So never mind. But there we are then. As New Zealand Cam then has joined us back. He was formerly in the Kick Sauber then only a few rounds at the beginning of the season, has rejoined the 100% league. He's in the Haas this time now and looking to get himself underway, the first man in qualifying to get himself underway around the streets here as the sun seems to be, oh dear, what's happened there? It seems like there's a Red Bull having a problem getting out of the pit. No, it was a Ferrari having a problem getting out of the pit lane. It was Justify, who's lost the front wing already, unfortunately for Justify, coming out that pit box then. So unfortunately, it is not good news then for the Ferrari driver. Legend is the other Haas then. He is reserving in place of Mumford tonight. Then Mumford, of course, is missing. That is why there's a reserve in for him, and that is why a Legend then has stepped into the other Haas car. New Zealand Can now is full time in that seat, and Justify needs to make sure he gets out of the way then of this Haas, because this Haas of Legend is on a lap, and I'm not sure Justify has actually realised that yet, but hopefully he figures it out now. Oh god, I'm not quite sure what was going on there, but right then, fantastic stuff indeed. Legend, I don't think was impeded too much then by that Ferrari, but nonetheless, the Ferrari, not Ferrari, sorry, there's a Mercedes of somebody else going up behind Justify as well here, and Gino has decided to take matters into his own hands once again as well then. So that's fantastic stuff indeed. That sort of action then will definitely get you penalties if you keep doing that sort of thing. So unlucky for Jinnah then, that has been noted on the stream already then, and we're only in qualifying, so brilliant stuff. Fantastic start then to this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Dark Shadow is on track then. He has unfortunately not used much battery there, so he will have to get himself sorted. Cam then coming up to the line then for the first time on the board here in qualifying. Up to the line for New Zealand Cam. It's a 40.7, puts himself of course P1 as it stands. Then we're going to have to see what his teammate Legend is going to be up to, as Legend second is heading down the back straight as well, then heading, oh sorry, main straight now, sorry, up to P1 then with a 40.0, then 7 tenths away, then Dark Shadow's done a 46.5, but I think is starting off another lap here and going again then on a second attempt then on those soft compound tyres. Vessi has jumped up to P1, sorry, with a 39.4, 6 tenths ahead of Legend as it stands. Good stuff indeed. The time's starting to tumble in here as we go down the hill then for Lewis O'Reilly then, Lewis Riley. My goodness me, I've said that already in silver as well then, haven't I? But Lewis Riley is taken to the Alpine here tonight, then reserving in place of Farf, who is hosting Bobby, but not unfortunately not racing here tonight. Here comes Kiki. Kamara races done a 39.7, then into P2 for the Racing Bull. Here comes his teammate in the other Racing Bull at 39.5, then displaces his teammate off the front row and puts himself up into P2. Brilliant stuff indeed. Then Lewis Riley's done a 39.9, then in the Alpine, puts himself into P4, splitting the two Hasses, his R2B in the other Alpine. Then P7 Coupe jumps up to P5 with a 40.0 then. There's a 40.40 there, there's a 40.0 then, there's a 40.0 there as well, then in row 3 as it stands as well. Then good stuff indeed. Where is Gordo then, we ask? No, we haven't got Gordo because we've got Equaz then. Equaz takes pole position away from his rival then, the Aston Martin rival of Vessia, then a 39.2 then for the Williams driver. The championship leader then looking very good indeed here in the Williams. So far, so good then for this first few outings in qualifying here. Gordo, where is Gordo? Gordo's coming through into the middle part of the lap, then heading into sector 2. Then this is where the tight and twisty part of the circuit goes, whatever happens here. So there is the castle section. You've got to try and negotiate. And goodness me, that back end nearly stepping out then could have cost him dearly. Then a little bit into the wall then did Gordo, but he's kept it within track limits then just about. Good stuff indeed. And now heading down through the rest of sector 2 then, which is pretty much just flat out then until you get to this corner here, and you need to make sure you slam the brakes on at the right part of the circuit. And Gordo, that back end is very flighty indeed then for the Aston Martin driver, heading down towards sector 3, and I think Sick as Muck has joined in the Ferrari then. Good stuff indeed. So there we are then, heading through now the last two tight and twisty corners. Well, not really, they're tight and twisty when you're going at this speed as well. Then almost 200 miles an hour through there as we head down the main straight then, and Gordo then is going to finish off the lap. Then he's gone very close to the wall on the exit there, heading towards the pit lane almost as we go over the line then for the Aston Martin. It's a 39.6, puts himself P4 into row 2 and just behind two positions behind his teammate. Then he's just about 1.5 tenths behind his teammate in terms of time on the track. That is Lewis Riley coming back in pit lane. Goodness me, as R2B they're going back out on circuit. Then he's already going through turn 2 on a second flying lap here. We'll come back to him then because Young Lights is further along the circuit and he is going through into the final corner. Then here he comes then up to the line. I think there's a Williams then coming back into the pit lane of Equaz as we head down the main straight, but it should be out of the way then for this Kick Saub then to come across the line then to see what he can do then in his first outing of qualifying here tonight. Then up to the line then for Young Lights. It's pole position with a 39.241 and puts himself, what is that then? That is 13 thousandths a second ahead of Equaz on to pole position. Brilliant stuff indeed then from the Kick Sauer. Then Gordo is having a bit of a weave, it looks like then. Good stuff indeed. I don't think there's any cars around then. There's R2B flying through the castle section. That is going to be a very dangerous part of the circuit then. R2B is harvesting energy then, so I don't think he's going to try and go any faster on that lap. Then Ginger Age is coming through the final couple of corners in. Let's see what the McLaren driver can do then here as we head down the back straight. Then there might be a distant tow then from Lucas Percy as he heads down the back straight then, but Lucas Percy is on an outland then, so it's not going to help him too much as here comes Ginger Age and up to the line. What's it going to be then for the McLaren? It's a 40.7, puts himself P11 as it stands then on his first attempt. Then Lucas Percy has just gone through turn 1 and getting out of the way then was the McLaren of Ginger Age. Very well indeed, and good stuff. Got not blocked once, but blocked twice. There's Casper Gilling and of course Legend then. I think that Ferrari was oh god, Ginger Ray just clouted the wall on an in-lap then. Oh my dear. So right then, as R2B jumped up to P7, then 39.8 then from R2B, then puts himself ahead of his teammate then by a tenth of a second. Then good stuff indeed then. Legend complaining that there was some people out on track then blocking his way then in his first lap. Then hopefully that will be the case then on his second lap. Let's just hope. Lucas Percy is coming through into the castle section. Let's see what Ginner is up to then. Ginner is going down the hill then on his first attempt here in qualifying. He is going through sector 3 now on the soft compound tyres. Let's see what it's going to be then from the Mercedes driver then, who's been Justify has been disqualified. He's there. Oh no, he was there. He's blocking the pit lane. Was justified, so he's out of the qualifying. Interesting. Let's just say that. I think there's a bit of a tow then from for Ginner then from that whoever that was. Ginner has he has jumped up the order. Then he's done a 39.9. Then puts himself P9 as well. Then that was a bit late then from the transponder there trying to get that data across the line. But there we are. Gordo then is back out on a lap. Then where is Lucas Percy? Then Lucas Percy on his first lap here is looking to get himself a first time on the board, of course, in this qualifying session. Then down towards the start-finish line. Then the yellow flags are fluttering. Then I think for that ghost car that, or that, sorry, that disqualified car. Then that seem to be having some sort of technical difficulties. Here comes Percy. Percy up into P3 with a 39.4. Then puts himself into P3 on the second row of the grid. Then that is, what is that exactly? About 2.5 tenths behind Young Lights in P1. Sorry, as it stands. Not blocked, but blocks one. Yes, unfortunately he got blocked then. Vessia then is on a lap then heading through into turn 2. Where is the next part of the action? I think it's his teammate Gordo heading down the back straight towards the start finish line on his second attempt here. 8 minutes left of the qualifying session to sort the grid then for 51 laps of the 100% Grand Prix of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Gordo then up into P3, a 39.3 then for him. Puts himself, what is that, just about a tenth behind pole position as it stands then. But Equaz then still holds on to that P2 then ahead of Gordo as it stands as well then. Lucas Percy then coming back into the pits. I think then Vessi has gone through then into sector 2. Then we just had somebody else jump up the order, I believe. No, we didn't. No, yes, we did. I think it was a Ferrari, wasn't it? Sick as muck then on his first time, 40.9 in the Ferrari. Then, unfortunately, his teammate has had a bit of a problem then in qualifying. Ginger Age then is looking to get himself through the castle section here. This is going to be well, one to watch, let's just put it that way. Then yellow flags on the main straight. I think that's for the Mercedes getting himself back into the pits there. And here comes Ginger Age. He's gone through the castle section very nicely indeed. Then brilliant stuff from the McLaren driver. Then let's see what he can do then in the latter part of the lap. Then we'll come back to him actually because I think we might have some Racing Bull action. Kamara unfortunately has invalidated his time, so he's back in the pits. Then is Kamara. Then with an Alpine of Lewis Riley then starting off a lap. And we'll come back to the action. And I think Vessia heading through the final couple of corners then to finish off another run here as well. Then 6 minutes left, or just over 6.5 minutes left of the session. Then Vessia then is running out of ERS deployment. Then down the main straight, and here he comes up to the line. And is it going to be an improvement on a 39.4? It is not. Oh, there we go then. Right, then here comes Ginger Rage then. Let's see what the Rage can do. And we've just had Coop jump up to P4. Here comes Ginger Rage and up to the light. Unfortunately, he's 1.7 seconds down on his time, so that's not going to be good enough, unfortunately, for Ginger Rage. Gordo's had a problem there somewhere. He's invalidated his time, then has Gordo, so unfortunately not going to be able to go, not going to be able to improve, sorry, on this lap. And he is cruising back to the pit lane now. Kiki is on a lap though. Kiki coming through the final couple of corners. Let's see what the Racing Bull driver can do here as we head through the last part of the lap then for the not the prancing horse, the prancing bull, as we go down the main straight once again then to finish off lap 2 then for Kiki. Then let's see where it's going to put him up into P2 with a 39.2. He is 9 thousandths away then from Young Lights from pole position, but Equaz has stolen it away with a 39.002 and improved by 2.5 tenths then to Kiki's time. Then that is looking pretty good indeed then for the Williams driver, the championship leader as well, then looking very strong here in the Williams car, and once again then looking very on point once again then for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix as we go through the final few laps then of qualifying here as well. Then out of the pits comes one of the kick salvers. It's Lucas Percy then back out on track then for him. Where is Lewis Riley? Lewis Riley coming back in the pit lane as well. He's abandoned his time, unfortunately, then has the Alpine driver then coming back into the box then B10 as it stands then for him. Ginger Rage is still out on circuit then, which is terrifying for everybody still out on that in that same circuit as well. Heading through the last few corners then for Ginger Rage, then flying through with his pink helmet, then fluttering in the breeze. Then is his oh dear, goodness me, he almost turned into the wall then. There's a wall there, Ginger Rage, you can't turn into it, it will be bad for your car. Heading down the main straight then we go, and oh god, oh dear, that's fast. Oh god, I thought I was going to go into a wall on the pit entry then. Thankfully avoided it, but well done indeed then to avoid that, because that was very, very close indeed as well. Heading now into the downhill left-hander, then into sector 3 very shortly for Dark Shadow. Then Dark Shadow looking to improve on a 46.5. I don't think that's his representative time. That might just be a banker time then to set his sights in then for his next attempt here as he goes through the last couple of corners then to finish off the lap. Gordo said it's very close indeed. Then it is very close indeed. Then the top of the order, there's been split a bit by Equaz, then who's done a 39.0 as it stands, then 2.5 tenths ahead of Young Lights at the moment. Then here comes Dark Shadow down the main straight, then up to the line. It's a 42.4 then for the Red Bull car. Then New car then is unfortunately not improved. Then needs to get himself back out the pit lane. Sicker's Muck improves to P13, displacing Ginger Rage down to P14 as it stands. Ginger then back out on circuit as well, heading through into turn 2. There's a Ferrari then of I think that is, well, it is Sicker's Muck, because Sicker's Muck then has to get out of the way then of Ginger, because unfortunately it's not his teammate. Justify is out of the qualifying session then with that disqualification that happened at the exit of the pit lane then. So it seems like a few drivers, well, not a few drivers, just one driver's had a bit of an issue coming out of the pit lane there, and that has disqualified them. So hopefully that doesn't happen in the race itself as well. We'll have to wait and see. Ginger Rage says, Alex, how dare you doubt my pit entry? As to be fair, if you can do that, pit entry like that in the race, without ripping off a wheel, then fair play, because that's going to gain you quite a lot of time. Then I think there's going to be quite a few drivers a bit cautious into the pit lane, then not cautious then for Dark Shadow, as he's flicking it round the castle section, then in Supreme style, then keeping that back end in check. Then Sicker's Muck then on an outlap, then Jinner as well coming through into sector 3. Oh dear, there's a slow Red Bull there. Thankfully they've got out themselves out of the way, which is good stuff indeed. No, it's a Racing Bull, sorry. As we go down the hill then for Jinner, then Jinner looking to improve, get himself into the top 10 here on his second attempt. Then I think it might be his last attempt of qualifying as well then, because there's only 2.5 minutes left of the session, and there's quite a long lap around here, especially for an in lap and an out lap. So unfortunately for Jinner, I think this is one and done then, well, not one and done, it's two and done really, isn't it, because it says second attempt. So we go through for the final time then, I think, for Jinner's flying laps, that is, as we head down the hill then, down the straight towards the start finish line. Jinner then up to the line. It's a 39.5, puts himself into P8. Then he has improved by almost 3.5 tenths of a second then, and there's a wall there. What the hell is going on then for Jinner? And Dark Shadow, Jinner's just, oh my god, it's just ridiculous that. I don't know what happened there. Dark Shadow's got a 5-place grid penalty for some reason, and Jinner seemed to just drive into him there as well then. So what is going on there? I don't have a clue really, to be honest, but there we go then. Dark Shadow seems to be just carrying on, but I don't think he's going to improve on his lap. But yeah, honestly, I don't know what is going on there. Fantastic. Right then, so there we are then. Jinner then has once again been caught up in some more shenanigans in qualifying there. So brilliant stuff indeed. Lucas Percy then trying to get himself up the order as well. Then Young Lights trying to regain that pole position, of course, as well. Then trying to battle Equaz then as he goes through into turn 2 here. We've got some more action out on track. Then Lucas Percy unfortunately has invalidated his time. Then can he go round again? Then he's got a minute to get himself back to the start-finish line. He can do it, I think, from here. But he's going to have to try and let that traffic go through. Then Jinner has lost the front wing as well there, so he's going to have a bit of an issue then on his next lap. And yeah, Dark Shadow, I think, was well, Dark Shadow seems to have gone off at turn 1, but Jinner then just finished off the lap and then went into him as well then. So I'm not quite sure what happened exactly there. There is definitely left end plate issues then for the Mercedes driver, and yeah, I think that's his qualifying done and dusted. Then Legend is back out on track going through sector 2. Then let's have a look and see who's next across the line then. I think where is Lewis Riley? Then Lewis Riley has just started a lap then as we head through. So has Gordo as well, and so has the Racing Bull of Kamara. No, it's not. Kamara Races improved to P6 then. He has got himself up into the 3rd row of the grid so far. That is pretty good stuff indeed. Then into the pits comes the Red Bull of Dark Shadow then. Dark Shadow unfortunately was involved with some sort of issue then at the exit of turn 1 there. Right then, good stuff. Kiki then starting off a lap, then Dark Shadow retiring in the pit lane here, and unfortunately not quite sure what happened there between himself and Jinner then at the first turn then, or on the exit of the first turn. There we go then. Anyway, done and dusted then. Ginger Rage's done and dusted in qualifying as well. Then he's done a 40.5, puts himself P14 in this qualifying session. Then where are the kick Saubers? Into the pits comes Lucas Percy. Then Young Lights has not improved. Then he's not improved. Then on a 39.2. Then stays P2. Lucas Percy back into the pit lane and retires in the box as well. Then Coop jumps up to P2. Coop up onto the front row of the grid. Then 39.0 for him as well. They're both the Williams looking very strong here in Baku. And there's something going on with the Hasses as well. Then here comes the Haas pair. Then down the main straight. And what's it going to be then for the Haas pair? Then up to the line. Then using the camp P8. Then Legend is in P13. So a bit of DRS Well, a bit of help then from the DRS, then down the main straight between the two kick salvers and between the Haas pair as well. Then heading up to the line then for Vessia. There's no DRS to help him here down this straight then, but up to, where's he gone? No, he stayed P9 then, unfortunately then for him. Kiki then, here comes Equaz, then Equaz up into stays P1, sorry, but he improves to a 38.988 then. Brilliant stuff indeed. Lewis Riley up into P6 with a 39.3, and fantastic stuff indeed. Both the Williams on the front row, the grid as it stands then. Can Kiki try and do something about that as well then? There's going to be some DRS games. No, there isn't, because they've run out of fuel. Kamara Racer is out of fuel then, unfortunately can't give Kiki a tow. They're down the straight, and unfortunately that's going to be bad news for Kiki unless he can find 2.5 tenths or just over 2.5 tenths to get himself on pole position here. Here he comes then down the main straight up to the line. What's it going to be for the final time in qualifying? Here it is, P3 with a 39.109 then. Fantastic stuff indeed then. My goodness me, what a qualifying indeed. That was fantastic from Baku. Everyone did a pretty good job then. Unfortunately for Justify, not so much then on the exit of the pit lane for him, and the same for Jinna and whatever happened with Dark Shadow as well then at the exit of turn 1 then at the final stages of that qualifying as well then. But there we are. That is the grid sorted then for the Japanese, goodness me, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix that is coming up then in just a jiffy. Then we'll quickly look through the classifications before we run through our lovely adverts from our sponsors, and then we will get ourselves into the race itself then in just over a minute's time or so. Is someone filming you? I am validated. Young Light said I'm validated. Was up on my time. Andy, I've got 3 controllers ready for tonight. It's going to be brutal. Can barely make it round 1 lap, says Ginger Age. He's done a couple of them in qualifying and made it just about. So hopefully he can hold it together then for a couple of them in the race as well. But unfortunately then it's going to get a bit problematic if you've only got 3 controllers. You probably need about 26, don't you, if you're going to go through that rate. There we are then. Is someone filming you, says R2Beat. Then hopefully they're not filming me, but fingers crossed that is not the case anyway. But there we are then. Williams on the front row, locking out the front row for the first time this season as well then for Equaz and Coop. Then Kiki in P3, then Gordo P4, Gordo P4, Young Lights P5, Lewis Riley in P6, Kamara P7, Lucas Percy P8, then New Zealand Cam P9, Vessia in P10, R2Beat P11, Jin has been demoted down the order with a 5-place grid penalty. Legend in P13, Sickers Muck P14, Ginger Age P15, Dark Shadow P16, Hungry Styles, Serious Mushroom Reflection, and Justified didn't get time on the board. Right, then we are just about to get ourselves started for 51 laps of Baku action, 52 if you include the formation lap, and we will get ourselves underway very shortly then. Whilst the drivers are just sorting out their strategies, please check out the ALR shop then for any ALR merchandise, your ALR hoodies, but even so your nice and snug ALR boxer shorts, and get yourself wrapped up nice and warm for winter. And of course 3D track prints, and of course 3D track wall art, that sort of thing, keychains, anything like that from our title sponsor of course this season as well. And of course if you've got any extra positions, if you've got any extra dosh, then please donate then to our charity. Then charity is a Mind organisation in support of mental health for anybody really, but of course for young people specifically as well then. Well, Justified's left the session then, so that's going to be helpful for his start. Unfortunately, he's starting from P19 and not in the car. Equaz then leads the way, then he's on the medium compound tyres, as is his teammate in the Williams, then P2. So both the Williams opting for the same strategy then to start off this Grand Prix. Then Kiki on the mediums in P3 then for the Racing Bull team, as is Gordo in P4 for the Aston Martin, sorry. Young Lights has switched strategy then, so Young Lights starting on the hard compound tyres here for the kick sour. Then that's going to be interesting stuff indeed to see how his progress starts then at the beginning of this race then, but also how it phases in the latter part of the first stint as well then. Lewis Riley then in P6 on the medium compound tyres, as is Kamara in P7 for the Racing Bulls. Then Lucas Percy switched the strategy then with Kick Sauber and is going for the medium compound tyre in P8. Then New Zealand Cam at P9 on the mediums, as well as Vessia in P10, rounding off the top 10 for the Aston Martin, and said in the comments that he's hoping that he can have a better race than qualifying. R2 then P11 then on the medium compound tyres, as is Legend in P12. Hard compound tyres going on the Ferrari of Sickers Muck here. So that is interesting stuff indeed. Ginger Rage medium compound tyres for him as well. Then Hungry Styles in P15 in the Red Bull. Then Ginner as well, medium compound tyres for the Mercedes driver. Unfortunately not a good qualifying for Ginner. Then hopefully he can bounce back. Then Serious Mushroom medium compound tyres for him as well. Then in P17, as is Reflection in P18 in the second Mercedes. He is sandwiched, or sorry, Mushroom is sandwiched between the two Mercedes. Justify in the Ferrari. Then hopefully he can get himself back in at the start of the Grand Prix. Then in Dark Shadow with that penalty. Then that grid penalty at the end of that qualifying session, starting from P20 at the back of the grid. Let's see what he can do then, as we got the race leader then almost onto the grid slot already then. So fantastic stuff indeed from Equaz. But he has stormed off into the distance here and will be waiting a little bit of a time to get himself started in this race then. And he said hit the like button as well then. Of course, hit the like button if you can. If you're on the stream, I'll do that as well myself. Bear with me 1 second. Oh, hang on, I can't figure out how to do it. There we go. Hit the like button. There we go. Hit the like button. Now I've lost the chat. There we are. I've got the chat back. Brilliant stuff indeed. Wow, I figured it all out. Good stuff. Right then. So whilst the drivers are lining up on the grid, then please hit the like button as well then. Thank you very much for supporting the stream and sharing the stream around and whatnot as well. And yes, we will hopefully have an entertaining stream as well, but usually in Baku it's an entertaining stream nonetheless. So stay tuned. This is going to get action-packed, I believe. I would expect as well then for Baku. As we get ourselves started, hopefully I can get a... I can't get a better angle than that really. Hopefully I can get a better angle. Then here we go then. 5 red lights are on here and the 5 red lights are off and away we go for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. A good start from Equaz on the outside line, sorry. Then he's going to have the racing line then into turn 1. Then both the Williams have gone through okay. Then there's a bit of a contact then with Gordo, I think, and what has happened there? Justify has rejoined. Justify's got himself back in the session. There's 3 wide into turn 2. Goodness me, that is not a place to go 3 wide. And Lewis Riley's gone spinning around. Then Justify's left the session. There's a problem then for Lucas Percy and for Vess here as well. Then at the second corner, and goodness me, I don't think no, it just doesn't work through there, does it? Unfortunately, then Justify's car is a bit swamped at this moment as well then as we go through into sector 2. And yes, goodness me, that was action packed to start off with. Then using the Cam and Ginner, then there's contact between the two of them as well again as we go through into sector 2. Both of them have got through unscathed, I think. It looks like it anyway, just about. I think there was some sort of debris that came off the potentially the advertising board there, but no such damage then for the car. That doesn't look like it, at least it's not significant damage. There's more stuff going on there as well. Then goodness me, hopefully, oh my, they seem to be clipping the walls and there's debris. I think it's just the wall that's coming off then rather than the wings. But my God, Justify has dropped down the order. He's got himself back in the car, I think, hopefully then, but he's dropped down to P20 there. Lewis Riley has dropped down 11 places. Lucas Percy down 10 and Vessi has dropped down 9, but they're still, well, they're already back underway and back in the train as well here, which is a pretty good recovery then. Out in front, the gap almost 8/10 then between the Williams pair. Then Coop trying to hold on to his teammates, DRS it looks like, or the DRS zone at least, at the end of lap 1 here as we head down towards the second lap, then down this very, very long straight indeed. There is the top of the order, then that is the top 5, and they have split the rest of the field. Then Legend's got himself up 6 places, but he's 2.6 seconds behind the top 5 as it stands now, and going to be under pressure from R2B heading down into turn 1. Then R2B's gone around going for the outside here. Legend tucks in behind. Good stuff indeed. Then Ginner has got himself past Camp down the inside at turn 1 as well. Then the Mercedes goes through and up into P11 then. More action down the back of the field. There's an Alpine that's had an issue then with an Aston Martin there. Oh my goodness me. And Vessia's got wing damage as well here, so I'm not quite sure what is going on there then. Okay, so Vessia's had a bit of an issue somewhere as well then, it looks like, and that is that then. So yes, I'm not sure what is going on there, but Vessia's got himself past Dark Shadow now into turn 3 then. Oh no, he hasn't, as Dark Shadow's gone back through. Then Vessia's misjudged his braking point then, and now Lewis Riley is going to try to go around the outside at turn 4. And there's action down the back of the field then, definitely, as they're getting stuck up behind the Red Bull, looks like, of Dark Shadow. I don't know. Oh, Dark Shadow's got wing damage. They're going to go side by side through here as well. Goodness me. Thankfully, they avoided any issue there. I think yeah, Vesier's definitely lost an end plate then on that left-hand side. You can see there on the Aston Martin then. I think Lewis Riley's all right then, but unfortunately he's stuck behind Vesier for the time being as we get ourselves through lap 2 here. As we go through the castle section from the top of the field, then, or the rest of the field then, because the top of the field is quite spread out already then. So we go through then into lap 2 already, and Vesier trying to go past Dark Shadow, then he's got himself through then at a very dangerous pace on the circuit. Then now Lewis Riley trying to go for the move as well. Then Vesier's lagging all over the place, and goodness me, there's, oh god, oh dear, that is bad news indeed. Then that was trying to go too wide into that corner is definitely not going to work. Let's just put it that way. So there we are then. Coop has lost out to the DRS of his teammate of Equaz, and here comes Kiki then up into P2, then splitting the Williams pair now, and up into the challenging then for the race lead, then trying to get himself back in DRS then of the race leader as well. As we go through turn 1, Young Lights in close contention as well in P4, then Gordo in P5, 3 seconds back then to R2 in P6, who's got Legend and Ginger Rage. Goodness me, I didn't even spot the McLaren driver, but he's up into P8 here, and he's flying on lap 3. I've jinxed him now, but there we go. So far, so good. He's done 2 laps very well, and he has got himself into the fight then with Archibald and Legend for that P6 position as it stands. Then can they catch up to the top 5 as well? Then bring themselves back into play then at the latter part, or in the early part, very early part of this race. Of course, there's still quite a few laps to go in this one. And so far, it has been it's been a bit. Yes, it's been a bit Baku, let's just put it that way then. Lewis Riley's in the pit lane, he's coming back out then onto a set of, let's have a look and see what tyre he's going on to. Hard compound tyres then for the Alpine driver, then that will be good news now. Well, not good news that he's had to pit then, of course, but it'll be good news now that he's now got a front, hopefully got a front wing on. It looks like he's got a front wing on, which is good, but he's got a new front wing, a new set of tyres, then he's got some clean air as well then, so he can punch a hole into that clean air and get himself caught up to the back of the queue. Then, of course, he has made a stop now, a mandatory stop as well. Then, of course, if it stays as Equaz has clouted the wall then as he's gone ghosting, hopefully there's no damage then for the Williams car then on that end plate as well then, but he seems to be all right for the time being. But Kiki has got himself in DRS range just about then of the lead Williams, that is, which is going to be looking pretty good indeed then for Kiki to run himself back in contention for another race win here, and heading down the main straight he goes then with some DRS as well to play with. That's going to be fantastic news indeed for Kiki, getting himself in contention. Then there is Gordo trying to get himself past Young Lights, then a very fantastic helicopter shot, then heading down the main straight. Then Kiki's at the fastest down the race, then he's now 2 tenths behind the race leader. Legends past Beat, then up into P6, then Ginger Rage trying to hold on as well then. Into the pits comes Kamara Racer, then Kamara's got an issue then somewhere, or has he? Or is he just doing a different strategy then to the rest of the field, then maybe trying to get himself, like Lewis Riley, then into a bit of clean air then in this race, and getting himself out of danger then. Is there wing change? Yes, there's a wing change unfortunately then for Kamara Racer, sorry, and he will be unfortunately demoted down to P19 I think then, with Dark Shadow taking away that P18 position then as we head through onto lap 4. Right then, into sector 2 we go then for the race leaders. Then Kiki then in P2, splitting the Williams pair then from the first few laps, and now trying to challenge them for his for the race lead then on lap 4 as well. Then heading down the main straight, sorry, will probably be his best bet. Then we'll have to wait and see what the Racing Bull driver is going to try and do then, when he's going to try and challenge for the race lead as well here. Gordo up into P4, then passing Young Lights. Young Lights on the hard compound tyres though, so I don't think he's going to be too worried about Gordo getting through if he can just stay with the pack then, and currently he is staying with the pack very nicely indeed as well then. Legend then is up into P6, then passing R2B, who's down or up into P7, goodness me. Ginger Rage then all over the back then of the Alpine as it stands then, but he is holding on to the DRS then of Legend up into P6 and down the hill towards sector 3. Let's see if we can hold on to it is the question as we go into sector 3 now. Like I said, I'm out of breath on lap 4, aren't I? But yeah, pretty much as we go through into the final couple of laps. Where is Kamara Racer? He is right behind. He is right behind Dark Shadow here as we go through. Oh my goodness me! Then that is going to be dodgy stuff indeed. And Kiki takes the lead of the Grand Prix, heading in towards turn 1. Then Kiki has taken away the lead from both the Williams now, and both of them, of course, starting in P2, and is now up into the top of the order then for the Racing Bull driver. Brilliant stuff indeed. Then Jinner has passed Sick as Muck then up into P9 then, and Lucas Percy passing Mushroom as well. Then Percy recovering then after that incident at the second turn on the first lap that was, and is now up into P13 then trying to chase down Hungry Styles is his next target. Then Kamara Racer's got himself past Dark Shadow, then heading down the main straight here as well, then heading towards lap 6 for them, lap 5, so well, goodness me, lap 5 I think it is for them as we go into turn 1. But Dark Shadow then has got some DRS then into, oh my god then, and that is definitely what you call turning in when you shouldn't be turning in then from Kamara Racer then, and that was definitely going to be on him if there is an incident for that then. So there we are. Right then, back underway at the top of the field. Then we go through into the castle section for the 5th time now, and they've got themselves through all unscathed once again then on the 5th run. So far so good. Then we've only got we've only done 5 laps of that, so there's still quite a few to go. 44 laps, 45 laps I think. Goodness me, I can't count. Dark Shadow has lost out to Lewis Riley. Unfortunately for Dark Shadow, I think he was sideswiped then by Kamara Racer and has lost the left end plate then, so we might have to come back to the pit lane to sort that front wing out then and get it all checked out and fixed as well then for a nice new one. Purple then from Kiki. Then Kiki is trying to pull his gap then to the Williams pair as we go through the final couple of corners onto lap 6 very shortly. Then Kiki's got quite a lot of battery saved up as well, then, so that's going to be quite useful for the Racing Bull driver later on, as Ekwar then can try and re-challenge then for the race lead and take it back then from the Racing Bull and keep it in Williams' favour. But as it stands, the top 5 are just cruising through the first few laps of this Grand Prix at the moment very nicely indeed. Then 4 seconds back is R2 Beat. Then he's under pressure from Legend and Ginger Rage. Goodness me, Ginger Rage is doing a fantastic job. He's done 6 laps, or 4, 7, lots of laps already so far with only 1 controller as it stands. So there we go. Then Andy has been warned by Ginger Rage in the comment section to predict a few controllers to go through this evening. But so far he's doing a fantastic job. Then so I've now definitely cursed him. If I haven't done so on the second lap, I should have cursed him enough now. Lucas Percy passes Hungry Styles then for P12 then. Lucas Percy on a charge now to get himself back into the top 10 contention as well here. And he's doing a good job then of it as well then as we go through into Sector 2 now. On lap 6 though, like I said, still a long way to go. Then how long can the tyres last is the next question. He has lost a right end plate there, has Lucas Percy, and that will be costing him quite a bit of downforce and a bit of time then in this, especially in this sort of section as well then, which can be quite difficult to negotiate with a full front wing. But so far Lucas Percy has well, I didn't even notice it, so he's not done anything too bad to his pace. He's got himself through there very nicely indeed. Then now New Zealand Cam is his next target in the Haas then, P11 for him. Ginger Age has been passed by Jinner, then Jinner has gone through at the unorthodox overtaking space then, or place I should say then, so Ginger Age may be doing a bit of a sneaky manoeuvre then potentially and trying to get some DRS then, a bit of DRS chicken from Ginger Age, is that? Or is that just a bit of mind games coming in already then in that lap 6 then, goodness me, as we go through. This is a fantastic angle, then we can't see much. Then Gordo's taken the P3 position away from Coop, then Coop down to P4 from P2, route down the back, not down the back of the order, down the rest of the pack of the order. We've got Jinner and Ginger Age in a fight as we go down the main straight down towards turn 1, but now Jinner is putting the pressure on Legend into turn 1, and Mushroom has got himself past Styles then into P13, trying to chase down Lucas Percy, who's got himself in DRS range of New Zealand Cam here as well. My goodness me, like I said, a bit of antics then in the first couple of laps then, especially into turn 2 here. Then we had a bit of an incident then with Vessia, with Kamara Racer as well then. I'm not sure if Justify is back in the car now and cruising away then. Hopefully he can get himself caught up then. Of course, he had a bit of an issue then getting himself into the race then at the beginning. Then he has got himself sorted now then, thankfully, and back underway then for Justify then. Good stuff indeed. Right then into the castle section we go now. Here comes the top 5 once again then. Young Lights I think is in a fantastic position here. As it stands, he is on the hard compound tyres, but he's been able to hold on to those on the medium compound tyres for quite a good duration of this first opening stint. And of course, those hard compound tyres will be lasting longer, not wearing out as much, you would hope, or you'd expect, then compared to the medium compound tyres. So the longer we go on this stint, then the better Young Lights' tyres will phase into this Grand Prix as well then. As will Sick as Much as well, to be fair. He's in P10 now. He's got himself, where's he gone from? Got him from P13 then up into the top 10 now as it stands in, and trying to chase down Ginger Rage, who is not going to be too happy about Sick as Much trying to join up to this fight then. Ginger Rage is looking to fight for P6 as it stands, and does not want any company then. He wants to go forward rather than backwards. I think Ginger Rage then heading through the final couple of quarters end, looking very good indeed here in Baku. And now heading into the main straight, then yellow flags for an Alpine. I think it's Lewis Riley who's had an issue somewhere. Lewis is he's had a problem then at the castle section, which can be a bit treacherous indeed. More action then as Coop and Young Lights have not switched places. Then oh yeah, Young Lights is going down the inside. Then goodness me, oh no, that is definitely not opportune. Let's just put it that way. Ginger Rage has lost out. Ginger Rage has had a problem there somewhere because he's lost out to both Jinner and R2B, and that trio now. Young Lights has got himself past Coop into turn 3 and has got himself up into P4, but they've lost out a bit of time then to the top 3 now, who have split away from these two, I should say, then in that in whatever that kerfuffle was going on then into turn 1. Ginger Rage has had an issue somewhere, then has lost out almost 2 seconds then to the 3 ahead of him now as well. Then he was in the DRS train, so he must have had an issue then somewhere. Potentially turn 1 there, but he's not got any wing damage as far as we can tell, so it seems to be all good then. Hopefully he can get himself back underway and back in contention, and we will wait and see then on to lap 8. Then still quite a few laps to go, let's just put it that way in this Grand Prix as we head into the castle section now. Then can Ginger Rage get himself back in that DRS window, which will be very helpful indeed then if he can, but he might have to wait a few laps then before that starts to happen. Then we'll wait and see then. The top 5 have once again resumed their DRS train, then as Young Lights is caught up then into sector 3 very shortly. Oh dear, he might have had a bit of a problem there, and that might have cost him a few tenths of a second then potentially, and that might drop him out of that 1 second window, but he's done a good job then getting into sector 3. Then he's got himself caught up now to Gordo, and the top 5 once again resume their order, resume their battling. Ginger Rage is 1.4 seconds behind it. Unfortunately, he's not going to be in the DRS zone then down this main straight. Then he's going to have to burn quite a lot of battery to try and catch up to the top 3 ahead of, well, the 3 ahead of him, I should say. Jinner, R2B and Legend then are battling for P6 here. Rocket Lee said hi all and good luck tonight all as well. Then thank you very much, Rocket Lee, and like I said, as I messaged you before yesterday, but hopefully we see you back soon, of course. But like I said, always a bit of a shame that if that's the case, if it's not the case, let's just say. Yeah. Anyway, Gordon then up into P2 then, and now trying to challenge then for the race lead. Kiki then has held on to the race lead very comfortably then as we go into turn 3. Then Coop putting the pressure on Young Lights, and like I said, to Rocket League, then hopefully you'll be back very soon. We'll miss you until you're back. And then we'll miss you when you're back. So yeah, there we go. I'm not sure what I'm saying there, Rocket League, but yeah, there we go. Just get back in server. There we go. That's all I can say. Right then, Equaz then has lost out. He was in the on pole position then, only 9 laps ago now, or 8 laps ago actually, but he's now down to P3. Then Gordo's got himself through as well. Then up into P2. Then Kiki has resumed the lead. Then since he got himself past Equaz, has held on to the lead of the Grand Prix and has done a very good job so far as well in this Grand Prix. Then Hungry Styles passing Serious Mushroom in a very unorthodox overtaking place then in sector 2. There we are then. That is interesting stuff indeed, but he's got himself sorted, I think, just about then. Hungry Styles having to be 13, 3 seconds off New Zealand Cam. Lucas Percy got himself past New Zealand Cam there. We didn't see that, but he's now on the brink then of the top 10 is Percy. Then even with that wing damage as well then for the kick Sauber, then he is flying out there, and down the hill we go. Then he's all over the back of Sick as Muck then, who's trying to get himself caught up to Ginger Rage, who just can't get himself in that window then to get himself in DRS then of the top of the 3 ahead of him, I should say. Then sorry, I keep saying the top 3. They're not in the top 3 just yet then, but they might be later on in the race. You never know. So there we go then, heading through the final couple of corners then. Here is the kick Sauber then of Lucas Percy then heading on to the main straight once again. There they are in the background, and there's the Ferrari then under pressure now from the green machine heading down the main straight then with some DRS. Then Jinner has got himself past R2 beat into turn 1. Oh my god, I thought there was going to be contact there as well. Then Lucas Percy has not passed Sick as Muck then. He couldn't get himself past that Ferrari then into turn 1. Then can he try again then in towards turn 3? But Sick as Muck then has put the power on now and is caught up, I think. Then he's got DRS then of Ginger Rage and down towards turn 3. That's going to be very, very useful then for the Ferrari to try and defend from the kick Sauber. But can he defend from the kick Sauber here? Into turn 3, down the inside. Oh, goodness me, he's locked up then, and that's contact between the kick Sauber and the Ferrari as we head into turn 4 now. And round the outside goes the kick Sauber, this time of Lucas Percy trying to hold the move. Then he's got the inside for turn 5, but he has got the move done before then as well. Then into the top 10 then for Lucas Percy. Then brilliant stuff indeed. Then there was a bit of a kerfuffle there as well then, but I think that was just Sick as Muck then locking up the tyres heading to turn 3. Then almost spun the car around, and Percy was just there already. And so unfortunately there was a bit of rubbing his racing, but it wasn't any damage done, I don't think, which is good stuff indeed. I will return, says Rocket Lee. That is fantastic news indeed then. Thank you very much. That is, honestly, I mean it as well then. So good stuff indeed. Thank you very much, Rocket then. And yes, well, you can always do a 100% race if you like. So we'll get you into 100%. Do you want to do 100% Baku? We can do it again for you next week if you like as well then. And yes, I'm sure you will love that. Well, to be fair, Baku used to be my favourite circuit. I'm not sure it is now, to be fair, but I'm not sure I've got the pace for anything now, to be whatever circuit it is. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see on Sunday. Then I'll do my best Yeah, look forward to that one. If you want to watch an entertaining race, then watch me race on Sunday in gold around this very circuit as well. Then Reflection passing Mushroom, sorry, up into P14 then for Reflection. Then Mushroom is harvesting some energy then down towards turn 1 and has been in a bit of a battle then with Reflection and with with Reflection, goodness me, and Vessia, sorry, and Hungry Styles. Oh my goodness, I can't get my names out. Yellow flag, the first yellow flag of the evening, and unfortunately for Lewis Riley, he's gone straight on there at the top of the hill, then reversing out now. But that Alpine, then I think he got himself sorted to not getting any damage there. But he had to go into the runoff area, didn't he there? Oh, yes, he has lost the wing, unfortunately, for Lewis Riley. That is a big shame indeed then. And will have to get himself back into the box then to sort that out as well then. But unfortunately, I thought he'd escaped in because he seemed to be in the runoff area. But that runoff area then was not wide enough then for the front wing to escape that contact as well. Then unfortunately for Lewis Riley, it's not going his way at this stage. He needs to come into the pit lane, but he's carrying on. So, oh dear. Okay, usually that's not a good sign, but never mind. We will cruise back to the top of the field. Then here comes Kiki, Gordo, Equaz, Young Lights, Coop, and that is that. The top 5. Then the fantastic 5 so far in this Grand Prix. 11 laps in. Of course, there is still 40 laps to go in this race itself, and yes, to be fair, it's a challenging circuit. We've only done 11 laps of it. It's a challenging circuit for myself because I'm already sweating, and I've still got 40 laps of this. Hungry Styles has had an issue there somewhere. He has lost out to both Reflection and to Serious Mushroom and dropped down to P15 here. Unfortunately for Styles, then he's had an issue somewhere. Lucas Percy is now on the back of the Ginger, and Ginger is going to be, oh dear, what's happened in yellow flags? Is it a racing ball? It's Kamara Race who's had an issue somewhere there, and he's got himself sorted, I think. Then R2 beat the first in the pits then. We've had Ginger Age being passed by Lucas Percy up into P8 now for Percy then, with Kamara's pit stop as well. Then Ginger Age dropping down to P9, but we'll try and stay with the Percy, with the kick Sabre, I should say, thank goodness me, as we go through onto lap 12 now as well then. Right then, R2 beat, as Lewis Riley's unfortunately got a penalty for his troubles as well then. R2 beat then is out of the pit lane. He's onto a hard compound tyre now, and I think that's the first of the scheduled stops here. Oh, goodness me, Justify's had a bit of an issue then through turn 1, it looks like there as well then. Goodness me, then getting that car sorted. Then Lewis Riley's having another issue at the same place then. Yeah, unfortunately, I think that's front wing issue. It's not helping him then because he needs to get himself slowed down into that corner. And yeah, replacing that front wing will be the best thing to do then to help you with some more applied downforce into that corner as well then. But unfortunately for Lewis, then he's gone off twice at the same place then, and hopefully can get himself sorted and repaired then to get himself back underway in this Grand Prix. Hopefully as well then, if there's a safety car or something like that, it will bring him back into contention as well here. I think once again he's trying to stay. He's going to stay out here, so I'm not sure if he's realised he's got a damaged front wing there. But nevertheless, he's struggling on out there with that damage and continuing on then as well. Right then, out in front then we've got a gap forming between the top 2 and Equaz here. 1 second then, and that is going to be a DRS saving 1 second for Gordo. And Equaz then has not got that rear wing open down this straight then. And that's going to open the door then for Young Lights potentially to go for P3 here on his hard compound tyres. Is this when the medium compound tyres are starting to drop off now? Here comes Young Lights down the inside at turn 1. Then has he got the move done? There's contact. Oh my goodness me, they almost went into the wall then on the exit. And Equaz, I don't think he's really very happy about that, and they've lost even more time now to the top 2 with that attempted move then. Ginger Age has lost out to the DRS as well. Then Serious Mushrooms past Reflection for P12, I should say then. So R2 Beat has gone onto the hard compound tyres down to P16 then. Got some fresh air, 5 seconds then to the top 15 as there is Vessia going through turn 1, then R2 Beat heading through into turn 1 now as well. So we'll have to wait and see then. Has R2 Beat made a masterstroke of a strategy call here? As Justify is into the box as well. Then Justify seems to have had an issue then getting himself into the pit lane there as well. Then Vessia passes Styles. Then we've got more issues. What's happened? I can't see. Yellow flags. It's, I think, for Lewis Riley then. No, it's not Lewis Riley. It's the Alpine of R2. Was it R2 Beat? Oh dear, that's not good news. No, that's Hungry Styles. Hungry Styles has had an issue somewhere because he's dropped down behind R2 Beat now as well. Then R2 Beat then of course is now a pit stop ahead of Styles and trying to get the undercut then on those ahead of him as well. Then so Styles had an issue out of turn 2, I think there, and Justified coming out onto the hard compound tyres now as well. Then in P18, but now onto a fresh set of boots. Then can he get himself onto a challenge? And he's got a new front wing as well, I think, on that car. Lewis Riley is carrying on the with the broken front wing then as well. So unfortunately, just soldiering on out there is Lewis Riley, then hoping for potentially a safety car to bring him back in contention here. We'll have to wait and see. Then out in front, the gap now 2 seconds between Young Lights and the top two of Gordo and Kiki, then, who have split off now into their own battle here. And I think that's Dark Shadow into the pit lane, and his Dark Shadow, and calling it a day then on his medium compound tyres then. So this is about the time we saw the window start to open then. So R2V is the first man to try and go for the hard compound tyre on a scheduled strategy as well then. He's got that gap now down to 4 seconds, or just under 5 seconds I should say then for the time being, as Sick as Muck has passed Ginger Rage into turn 1, or before turn 1 then with the DRS, then up into P9 now for Sick as Muck on the hard compound as well then. So this is indicating here that this is where the hard compound tyre is phasing in nicely now compared to the medium compound as well, I believe. So there we go. Right then, but Ginger Rage is going to try and fight back as he into turn 3. Then let's see what the McLaren driver can do. That I don't think those medium compound tyres have got the traction anymore compared to the hards, and that is why we are seeing the hard compound tyres starting to kick in here for the likes of Young Lights. Then 1.7 seconds the gap then to the top two. We've got Mushroom and Reflection then battling into turn 3, and Mushroom retakes that position then back up into P12 now for the McLaren. Mercedes down to P13. But all the time then, R2Beat is cruising up to the back then of this battle as well here. Vesia, of course, had the issues in the first lap then, has not been able to recover there from that. He has still got wing damage though. That is why we've got a problem then for a Red Bull of Hungry Styles, who's had an issue into the exit of turn 3, and has just parked up and let everyone go through there as well then, unfortunately for Styles. And unfortunately he is doing his classic race then of not having not trying that much. Let's just put it that way. But I think he's had a bit of a problem then somewhere at the exit of turn 3, maybe clipping the wall then on that with that rear tyre then, which can happen at turn 1 and turn 2 as well then, to be fair. But there we are. Gordon then heading down the main straight then towards that lap 15 then. Can he make a move then into P1 on lap 15? Here he goes with some DRS then into turn 1. He's staying there. He's staying behind. Not staying alive, he's staying behind. Then there we go then, as we go into turn 2 next then. I think Gordon might be thinking about lining up a move then for turn 3, then round turn 2 we go. Nicely done. Oh dear, not so much. Then that back end stepping out then. Lucas Percy's got himself past Ginner, has he? Yes, he has, into turn 1 as well then. So Lucas Percy up into P7 now. Reflection back past Mushroom. Kamara's got a 3-second penalty, the second penalty of the evening, both an Alpine and a Racing Bull with a penalty there. Right then, oh dear, I think Jimmy's going to try and come back a person here into turn 3, and he's gone down the inside, and oh god, there's more contact than... I don't understand why people drive like that and just turn in then when there's a car trying to go down. I know it's a late move, or it's not even a late move, to be fair. You're already there. You can definitely see that there's a car there, but yet I suppose you do have to turn in at some point, don't you? But yeah, there's a bit of an early turn in then when you're just trying to cut off the other driver then, and that usually results in that sort of contact. We saw that with Kamara Racer and Dark Shadow then at turn 1 then on the early laps then. Lap 15 here, almost at the third waypoint, 1/3 of the way through, I should say. No, I shouldn't say the third waypoint, but 1/3 of the way through this race then almost, as we cruise then on to lap 16 very shortly then. Out in front, the top two are joined together by the hip then, or by the diffuser, as we go through into the last couple of corners, and the kinks then of the final sector of Azerbaijan then flying through there very nicely indeed. And so far so good then. Here comes Gordo then. Can Gordo take the lead then onto lap 16 this time then? He was looking for it on lap 15, or onto lap 15, but this time onto lap 16 he's got it this time into turn 1, up into P1 now for the Aston Martin driver. Good stuff indeed. Flying through, my goodness me, I'm already running out of breath then. We're not only about a third of the way through the Grand Prix, but it has been pretty good indeed then, this start of this race then. Fantastic stuff then. Kiki has lost out a bit then at the exit of turn 2, but trying to get himself back through in contention then, as New Zealand Cam has passed Ginger Rage into turn 1 then. Mushroom then has passed Reflection as well into turn 1, right behind them, as into the pits comes Vesia. So Vesia is calling it a day now on the medium compound tyres. Then can the hard compound tyres get to the end of the Grand Prix from here? R2B will be hoping so. And he, of course, has done 4 laps extra laps, I should say, then on his tyres compared to the likes of Vesia, who's now onto another set of medium compound tyres. and seems to be serving a... Oh, he's got a wing damage. He's changing the wing then as Vessia then, unfortunately. Well, it's fortunate that he's changing it, but unfortunately he was racing for that first 15 laps then, it looks like, with the wing damage as well then. Heading out of the pit lane now, and Styles is going to be in close proximity. Where is Styles going then? I thought he was going all the way to the left of the left side of the circuit then, but thankfully not. But Styles yet to pit in this race then, unfortunately. So far, so good then as we head down towards turn 3. Right then, out in front then, Young Lights is back in contention now. Young Lights on those hard compound tyres is starting to kick in now. I think the medium compound tyres are fading out very quickly indeed. We saw R2B pit up with I think only 11 or 12 laps done on his medium compound tyres. Quite a few others have done quite a bit longer, or a couple of laps longer I should say. Then yellow flags in the middle sector. That's Dark Shadow. It's a virtual safety car here, and Dark Shadow has caused that virtual safety car by crashing in the middle sector, in the castle section here as well then, it seems to be. Unfortunately then for the Red Bull driver, he's lost his whole front wing as well then. 10-second penalty for Young Lights for ignoring the yellow flags, and he must have overtaken Gordo and Kiki under the yellow flags, and that will have to be reviewed after the race then. Coop has stayed out then, of course. He doesn't want to double stack behind his teammate, and Eklaz is in the pits as well then, the other Williams driver, as both of the Kick Saubers have stayed out. Dark Shadow's got a 3-second penalty then for where is that then? Going through into the last couple of corners, I think, then is Dark Shadow then trying to get himself back to the pit lane as quickly as possible then. Out of the pits then, so the top 3, sorry, have not pitted. They have stayed out then under this VSC. Gordo's gone for fresh medium compound tyres, so medium then for Gordo. Kiki's gone for the hard compound tyres then in P5. Then, of course, those two were in a bit of a fight then for the race lead before the VSC came out. Then Sickers Muckers stayed out. Kiki's got a drive-through penalty then, as has somebody else then as well. Drive-through for Jinna and for R2B. And Dark Shadow has retired from the session. Goodness me, what an eventful lap 16 that was then. Fantastic. Right then, there we go then. The first retirement of the race then on lap 17, I should say, as we go through for the race leaders, that is. But 3 drive-through penalties then for Kiki, for Jidda, for R2B then speeding under the VSC, and that is going to be very costly indeed then at this stage of the race as well then, for those 3 drivers, and potentially they can get themselves through the pit lane quickly enough then to not lose too much time, then not to lose too much position as well then. Kiki will probably lose out then to Serious Mushroom and Eklaz then, but of course with Jinna and R2B serving their drive-throughs as well, he might be able to get himself back out in the top 10 still. We'll have to wait and see then, but those situations, those drive-through penalties, sorry, are going to be costly indeed, and as is Young Light's penalty as well then for 10 seconds for ignoring the yellow flags under the VSC as well. At the same time, he didn't speed under the VSC, but he got I think 2 5-second penalties then for overtaking Gordo and Kiki, who are entering the pit lane but might have been entering a bit slowly, let's just put it that way. So that is that. And when Kiki's serving his drive-through penalty here as well now to get it done straight away then is Kiki, which is I think the best option. Coop then into the box, and Kiki might be able to overtake Coop here actually. We'll have to wait and see. I don't think he will actually. Oh yes, he's changing the front wing, so Kiki could cruise past then. Yes, he has overtaken with a drive-through penalty, and very good stuff indeed from Kiki, gaining a place then on that one as well. So there we are. The Jinna and R2B are also in the pits then to serve their drive-through penalties then, which is not good news then for those 3 drivers, but they have got themselves served and out of the way now, at least, so they can try and crack on back on with their race now. Eklaz has got himself past Mushroom now. Eklaz is trying to get himself after Legend and Gordo, so Legend is technically in a net P2 position here, with the top 2 yet to pit then, and Sickers Muck in P4 yet to pit as well then. So Legend is not looking too shy out there, but he's got the fuel light already on then as well here in the Haas, so that could be a bit of a problem later on at the very end of this Grand Prix. We'll have to check in on that one and wait and see. But there we are then. Right then, so Gordo now challenging then the 2 Kick Saubers who lead the way then. Gordo, of course, has got the fresh medium compound tyres on his car now and is back underway. Young Lights, of course, is yet to pit then. He's going to have to serve that 10 seconds when he does come into the pit lane as well then, which is going to be costly indeed. Lucas Percy yet to pit as well then. He has stayed out on his medium compound tyres and right end plate damage as well then, so that is going to be well, interesting. But I think potentially what Percy is doing here is maybe stretching those medium compound tyres. I think maybe he's thinking that the rest of the field are on a 2-stop strategy here, and Lucas Percy is trying to stretch those mediums to go for a 1-stop strategy then, and go onto the hard compound tyres in a few laps time then, and go to the end of the Grand Prix then after only making 1 stop. Instead of making 2 stops, you're making 1 stop, which is quicker theoretically, depending on how quick those tyres are. Then the fresh tyres are going to be much more useful then in the race. And as Legend sets the fastest lap of the race, then he's gone purple, of course, in sector 1, 2 and 3 this stage of the race. Then onto those medium compound tyres, fresh mediums, of course, very good stuff indeed, and currently holds the fastest lap point as well. Then Equaz 5 seconds back as well there in the Williams. Then on the hard compound tyres though, so if he's going to try and do a stretch to the end of the race from here, then he could potentially be in good contention for that race lead or race win potentially as well. Then we'll have to wait and see. Then Gordo almost into the DRS range. He's got himself. Oh, Jinner's from car. Jinner's had an issue. Jinner's gone. Jinner's gone. Where's Jinner gone? Where has he gone? He's in the pit lane. Jinner is out of the race. In the pits, I think then. Safety car is out. Great news then for Hungry Styles. So he can come into the box now and sort those tyres out. But he's gone incredibly slowly into the pit lane there. Justify then is cruising down to the main race as Lewis Riley hopefully can get himself back into the race as well here. But he'll need to crack on. He'll need to carry on actually, because Young Lights, and if he stays out, then we'll be able to lap Lewis Riley. So Lewis needs to stay out one more lap then and cruise around into the towards the back of the safety car queue and then pit. Then of course even better for that. Then you'll have fresh tyres towards the end of the race, or not towards the end of the race compared to the rest of the field. Then so that'll be fantastic stuff indeed. But there we go then. As never mind, he's coming into the pit lane. He is ignoring me and he's going to pit now. So he's going to have to hope that Young Lights doesn't stay out then. And Young Lights looks like he's staying. No, is he staying out? Goodness me, we don't know. No, he's coming in. So there we go then. Brilliant. Right, then Jinner out of the race. Well, not brilliant. Sorry, it's not brilliant. Jinner's out of the race. Then brilliant. He is in the pit lane. Brilliant. Jinner's out of the race, unfortunately. And that is that. Then Gordo is going to take the lead, I think, here. Potentially, yes, he is. Then Young Lights then is serving a 10-second penalty. Then might be double stacking then down at Kicksauber. Stickers Muck also in the pit lane now. Legend will go through then into P2. Then Young Lights' penalty then is going to be costly because Percy is double stacking in behind his teammate, and they're a bit slow then to get that second Sauber sorted as well. Then they've got themselves sorted quickly enough then, I think, just about. And back underway, but where will Percy come out? He's not changed the front wing then as Percy. Maybe he didn't even realise it was broken then, but to be fair. But out onto P6 then for the Kicksauber driver then, and he has got that place ahead of Coop now as well then. Cam and Mushroom also in the pits. Ginger Rage has pitted. We pitted a couple laps ago then actually to the hard compound tyres. Mushroom has used the safety car to pit for the hard compound as well. Using Cam onto medium compound tyres then in P13. Kamara then is cruising back up to the safety car queue. It's going to be quite a wait then for the safety car because Lewis Riley has put on a new front wing and a new set of mediums then, but he's almost been caught by the safety car there, and that would have been problematic then for the Alpine. Then he would have been off the lead lap as well then. So that's that then. Right, so now we've got to just have a bit of a twiddle of our thumbs until we wait for the safety car to get all the drivers to catch up to the safety car, and we can get ourselves back underway then racing here in Baku. The first safety car of the evening on lap 20 then is not well, lap 19 was not too bad to get through. That's correlating around 2.5 safety cars per race. So we'll have to wait and see if that's going to happen. It could be worse now, so I might have jinxed it. But there we go then. So can they get to the end on those hard compound tyres is the question. I think Percy's going to try and hope that will be the case for him, especially he's on the freshest tyres in terms of the hards, that is, at the top of the order then, in the top 10 that is as well. Mushroom also on the same life of tyre. A couple of people have pitted a lap or so before that safety car came out then, and they will be on slightly older tyres, not too much older tyres, but they might be on a bit of a different strategy now as well then, compared to the rest of the field around here. So that is that. What was for tea tonight, says Gordo? I had a plate of pasta with some cheese on it and some pepper because I have nothing left in my fridge. So that was it. But it was not, well, it was very nice indeed, to be fair. I enjoyed it, but it was all I had. So that was, yeah, I need to go shopping basically. But I was not going to go shopping then on a Wednesday night because I've got to do, oh my goodness me, I've got to do commentating then for the 100% League, and I'd rather do that than going shopping for food. So there we are. Into the pit, back into the pits comes Cam. So Cam's come back into the pit lane to do something or other. So a bit of an interesting call then from Cam. We'll have to wait and see what he's got a front wing change then. So he maybe didn't change the front wing in his first stop. Then that's unfortunate then for Cam. Then he has got himself onto a new, not a new set, but a slightly used set of hards, and potentially can still get to the end of the Grand Prix. We have 30 laps to go. Then at the end of this one, it's going to be quite a stint indeed. We will wait and see if it can be done. Fair enough, says Gordo. I was quiche out of the fridge, never knew it was there until I checked it earlier. Well, to be fair, a nice quiche out of the fridge, then put it in the microwave for a few minutes is going to be absolutely delightful, in my opinion. So sounds good to me, and yeah, I take that. So yeah, but I don't have a quiche, so there we go. I can't. So, but there we are then. So yes, yeah, a nice quiche then for Gordo, a nice plate of pasta for me, and there we are, 100% racing then here in Baku to go afterwards. So so far so good. First safety car of the evening. Unfortunately for Gino, I think he was he had an accident then in the pit entry. Then it looks like because that car seemed to be it was stranded, but we didn't see where it was stranded because we couldn't tell from the main straight then, so it looked like it must have been in the pit entry. Then Lewis Riley is going to be saved by this safety car and now catching up to the queue for the safety car as well, then going through sector 2 now. I don't think it will be this lap that we're coming back onto green flag racing. There will be another lap or so. Ginger made it 20 laps, says ALR Esports. Lol. Yeah, well, we already had that conversation about the controllers going out the window then for Ginger Age, but so far he's made it 21 laps then with one controller, I believe. I don't know, we'll have to ask him, but so far so good for Ginger Age then as well. As we head through the castle section now for Lewis, then he is only a few seconds away then from the back of the crocodile then behind the safety car then, so it won't be too long before we get ourselves restarted. Unfortunately, I think it will be an extra lap then for the viewing eyes then as we go through. Oh my god, he's pushing the limit on his under the safety car is Lewis, and doing a good job then catching up very quickly indeed. But I think safety car is already on the well, it's already passing the start finish line now, so we won't be restarting on this lap. We'll be back onto the next lap then. Is anyone going to come into the pit lane from the back of the order then and maybe go onto a fresh set of tyres to try and get themselves to the end of the race? And Reflection is opted for that, and Reflection might be onto a absolutely blinding strategy here. Cam is also in the pits again. Lewis Riley, I think, is staying out then, but of course has now thankfully caught up then after a very difficult first stint then, now into contention, I should say then, as Cam is onto a set of medium compound tyres, onto a set of hards for Reflection. So Reflection is now on the freshest tyres of the field, and I think that is going to be absolutely brilliant stuff from Reflection. Then all he needs to do now is just make sure he gets to the end of the Grand Prix, which is easier said than done from here. So fair play to Reflection then for giving it a go. Cam also onto a one lap old set of medium compound tyres. I think that was the medium compound tyres he put on in his first stop under this safety car, and he's done 2 stops under this safety car now, but has got everything hopefully sorted and tucked away now and ready for the restart of this race. So there we are. Homemade bread rolls for me, says Rocket then. Fantastic. Well, we could put all of our meals together, couldn't we, I suppose, and have a quiche, pasta and bread roll thing. I don't know what you call it, but yeah, you can make up a name for that, but I'm sure it would be carbohydrate or some sort of diabetes. I don't know. Yeah, there's going to be all sorts there, but fantastic stuff indeed. Right, get some bread rolls warmed up in the oven then for the restart of this race. I'm not quite sure what you're going to do with them when the race restarts, but there we are. Maybe start throwing them at the wall or something like that. But right then, here we go then. Hopefully the safety car will peel away back into the pit lane at the end of this lap then, and on lap 23 we can get ourselves back racing here. We've only had one safety car. I keep saying that, but I'm going to jinx it now. It's going to be a safety car straight away, isn't it? We've only had one safety car so far in this race, and unfortunately it was for Gino, who had an issue then into the pit lane as well, then retiring in the pit entry. Then it's a very twisty pit entry, isn't it, around here? Because of course they're trying to slow the cars down so that they don't fly into the pits. If they lose their brakes, it's better off the car hitting the wall then and retiring than it flying into the pit lane. And of course, where all the pit crews are in real life, then it's better than them flying into the pit lane and just going straight on at God knows what mile an hour then into a pit crew or something like that, which would be horrible stuff indeed. Of course, even at Baku, remember we had the situation where they they opened the pit lane for people, and the cars were still coming around, and it was on the last couple of laps there as well. Then to get the race restarted here, good restart then from Young Lights, then trying to put the pressure on Legend into the first turn, then trying to go down the inside here. And has he got it? Yes, he has. Oh, goodness me, there's clout on the wall then for Legend. I think he's got himself through unscathed there, but he has lost out then to the kick sauber as we go through turn 2. And it looks like, hopefully, fingers crossed, everyone's got themselves through turn 2 unscathed on this attempt. Then, of course, the first lap was a couple of problems then for Vessia and for Lucas Percy, who's now got himself back home to P6 here. Vessia passing R2 beat then on the medium compound tyres. Then I think those mediums and those hards for those two might have to be changed later on in this race. They might be getting a bit too worse for wear then, as the McLarens are switching places at the very wrong place indeed then, because down the inside goes the Aston Martin. That's a late move there from Vessia. And Ginger Age, and oh god, and R2 Beat's been caught up in it too. Kamara Race has gone through to P11. There's a ghost car then of an Alpine. No. Oh god, I thought they were going to. Oh, there's still a ghost car of an Alpine then. Never mind then, as he lost out then to Vessia as well then, sorry. But my goodness me, the McLarens then, I mean, fair play during the teamwork, but definitely wrong place to do it. Let's just put it that way. Then Justifies had an issue out of the castle section at the top of the hill. Then he's lost out to Reflection and Lewis Riley as we go through into the echelons of the end of sector 2, sorry, I should say, then into sector 3. And down the hill, oh goodness me, a clout in the wall, I think that was Justified. There we go. Right then, medium compound tyres for the top 3, then they're going to be starting to fly away. Then hard compound tyres for the Williams of Equaz, then Kiki in P5, sorry, as well, then and Lucas Percy in P6, as is Coop, sorry, in P7. So there's 4 of them there on the hard compound tyres. Then if you can keep up with the top 3 for the time being, then I think in the next, well, less than 10 laps even, I think those hard compound tyres are going to be firing on all cylinders then to try and get themselves into the race lead then, so it will just depend. Oh goodness me, Kiki's had a bit of a oh god, I thought Lucas Percy went in the back of him then as well, heading through into turn 2. Goodness me, I think Kiki's had a bit of an issue, then got problems then for R2 Beat. R2 Beat has had an issue, has he? No, he's lost out, but he's well, that was a very quick yellow flag, wasn't it? Kiki has been passed by Lucas Percy, now Percy up into P5, then that wing damage is not holding him back at all, then I don't think, for Lucas Percy. As we go through into sector 2 now, it might be a bit problematic then through this sort of section here, but down the straights, maybe it's adding some straight line speed, so that's going to be very good news for the kick sauber indeed. So there we are then. Buffet, says Rocket Lee. I think that's what he's going to call my combination of everything that we've eaten tonight for our dinners. But yes, that would probably be very suffice. So good stuff. But yeah, of course, maybe you should get into the naming business of all sorts of things like that as well. That'd be fantastic. I'll have a buffet then, please, of bread rolls, pasta, and quiche. And that will be what it consists of. So yeah, but so far so good. And I need to stop distracting myself then. But the buffet is distracting me just by the word buffet, really, isn't it? So there we go. So fantastic stuff indeed. Then I've lost my train of thought now, Rocket. Thank you very much. So there we go. But there we are. Right then, McLarens. We'll go back to the McLarens then, because they were changing positions then in a very awkward place in the circuit, and that almost cost them. Almost cost them a driver in the race, to be fair, with Ginger Rays then getting a bit caught up with Vess here slightly, and that involving Kamara Racer and R2B as well. Then R2B's had to drop down the field because of that. Out in front, goodness me, I missed it. It's Young Lights, it's Gordo, it's Legend into turn 1, then Young Lights takes the lead, and Young Lights has gone through, then up into P1 then for the kick sauber. Then he looked like he was going to be in contention for pole position as Dark Shadow has left the session. He's unfortunately out of the race as well here. So Young Lights takes the lead. Gordo then P2, then Legend P3, then the hard runners. Equaz has lost out to the DRS then of the top 3, then Lucas Percy trying to catch up to Equaz as well here. Then Vessia and Kamara are switching places, then Vessia up into P11 now. And next to challenge, or next to re-challenge, I should say, then the McLarens. And so watch out for Vessia. Then the McLarens then seem to be on a warpath then with the Aston Martins tonight. So stay tuned to that one. But yeah, there we go. Then Equaz then trying to get himself back in contention. Then Lucas Percy trying to fight on with that wing damage as well. Then hopefully he realises that end plate is missing, then, because potentially you can do something to rectify it in the if there's any more safety cars or anything like that. But if he does choose to pit again, that is, because he might be trying to go to the end of the Grand Prix from here. Reflection picks up a penalty then. Reflection, of course, on the freshest tyres of the field is Reflection then. He's on 3-lap old hards then, pitting at the very end of that safety car, and is going to have to try and get those hard compound tyres to the end of the Grand Prix from here, I think. But he will have the best tyres of the field if he chooses to do so as well then, so we'll wait and see. So far so good. Right then. Equaz then has not been able to get himself into that 1 second window at this point of the lap. Then Gordo is in danger of losing out then to Young Lights as well. Then as we fly through the final couple of corners, detection point is right here. Is it over a second though? And I think Gordo has just about done enough then to get himself back in that 1 second window. And that rear wing now opens up then for the Aston Martin to pull himself even closer down towards turn 1 then, and potentially even going for the race lead. Then not quite close enough, unfortunately, then for Gordo. He stays behind. Lap 26 of 51. Believe it or not, this is only the halfway point. So goodness me, we've got to get ourselves through another 26 laps over this one. But so far, I've been thoroughly enjoying it. Hopefully it holds on then for the next 26 as well. Then New Zealand Cam passes. Oh, where has he gone? There he is. He's passed Kamara Racer, I believe it was, up into P12 now and challenging the next to challenge Vessia. Then but Vessia is challenging a Ginger Rage then down towards turn 3. Then can he go for a late move down the inside? Goodness me, it's contact then. Oh goodness me, speeds through, splitting the McLaren pair there down into P11 then. And we've got more movers and shakers as well here because Equaz has lost out then to Kiki. Has Equaz got some damage there? I can't tell from that angle. I think Kiki has gone through. Equaz has lost an end plate. Equaz has lost an end plate. That is going to be bad news indeed for the Williams driver. The championship leader as well then has lost out to Kiki and lost a bit of front wing there as well going through into sector 2. And we did see a bit of toing and throwing there as well then between the two of them. Then here comes Percy. Was Percy involved in that as well? Then goodness me, I don't even know. I'm not quite sure. I think Percy must have been, because Sickers Mark's got himself past that kick salver somewhere. Oh god, into the back as well, and he's got into. Oh my god. And is Lucas Percy still in the race then? Because my goodness me, I would have thought that. How is that not a safety car? And Jesus Christ. Oh my days. And Lucas Percy is definitely going to have to pit now. If he didn't have to pit before, then Ginger Rage got a 3-second penalty. Then Ginger Rage has had a problem somewhere as well. Then he's lost a wing for him as well. Like I was saying, the first half has been so good. Then the second half has started off horribly. So let's just put it that way. Kamara Racer up into P9 now. Cam has passed him. Then down the main straight towards Cooper's in the pit. Then Cooper's had what's happened to Coop? There's all sorts of things that have gone wrong here then. What's happened here? There's all of the order is in the pit lane pretty much. It's going to be Percy's retired in the pit, so he's done and dusted. Never mind then. Coop's also in the pit lane. Then Ginger Rage is also in the pit lane too. And right then, fantastic stuff indeed. Like I said, the second half of the race is going to be very, very good indeed. So Ginger Rage has got a wing change. Then Coop's just gone on to a fresh set of medium compound tyres, so I'm not quite sure, unless he just didn't change the wing then for Coop. Then we'll have to wait and see. It seems to be okay. Odd, very odd indeed then that one then. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what is happening there, but Sickers Muck just drove into the back then of the kick salver of Percy. Let's just put it that way as well. Good, not so good for Lucas Percy. He's out of the race then, unfortunately, and well, I don't know how that wasn't a VSC at least, or a safety car, to be fair, that sort of incident, but that is well, the errors of this corner specifically. Then if you're following a car closely, then it's definitely a difficult place to do so. And unfortunately for Sickers Muck, then he has well, effectively ended Lucas Percy's race. I mean, Lucas Percy did pit and quit, but effectively his race was well, his front wing was definitely ruined. So there. Right then, Justifies picked up a penalty. Then penalty started to roll in here as we go on to lap 28. Now there's a 1.5 second gap then between Young Lights and Legend. Then Legend's got 10. Oh, sorry, not 10 laps. Well, he's got 3 lap older tyres than Young Lights. Then into turn 1. Then Legend is under pressure from Gordo, but not quite. Then for the Aston Martin, stays P3, and we go through now. Vessia then on the back of Mushroom then, but Vessia's tyres might start to get worn out very soon. Then Lewis Riley has passed the New Zealand Cam then for P8 into turn 1 then, but now Cam might try and return the favour into turn 3. Sickers Muck has gone round again then, and now into the pit lane to change his front wing here. Vessia then up into P6 then, is past Mushroom then down towards turn 3. Sickers Muck then is getting that front wing sorted. Will be down behind Ginger Rage, I think then, or close to Ginger Rage on the exit. Then Cam and Lewis have switched places. Cam back up into P8 now. Kamara has passed R2 Beat as well here, as action galore then in the middle part of the lap as well, it seems like. Not the out of sector 1 and sector 3. Why would you choose sector 2 to do your overtaking? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it doesn't make sense to me, to be fair. But then again, I'm probably going to send it on everyone through the castle section then on Sunday, because why not? That's what everybody else does. It must make the most sense to do that then. So there we are then into Sector 2. Funnily enough, then we're going to go through following R2 Beat. Now R2 Beat I think might have some damage then on that car. Yeah, the M plate on the right hand side missing then for the Alpine, heading down the hill now and trying to stay within the DRS range then of Kamara Racer, who has got 5 lap younger tyres. Of course R2 Beat pitted the earliest out of everybody on a scheduled stop there and did not choose to pit under the safety car, so he had the oldest tyres. He has the oldest tyres, sorry, of the field as it stands. I think, yep, just about trying to do the maths there. So good stuff indeed then, but he has stayed within DRS range just about then. Equaz calling it a day then on the hard compound tyres, similar to Coupe as well there. So coming into the pit lane now is the Williams then to get himself off the hard compound tyres after only 12 laps as well. Oh, he's got wing damage. Never mind then. So that is why, unfortunately, he has had to stop to change that front wing then, has Equaz. And championship leader then down the order. He's on to old medium compound tyres as well here. I'm not quite sure what has gone on then for Equaz, but he's going to have to well, he's not going to be able to get to the end of the race on those tyres for sure. They will be past their best already then, and I am not sure what has happened then for Equaz then, who has come out of the pit lane now in P14, but he is right in front of his teammate. Coupe then is going to, well, he's on much fresher tyres than Coupe, so Coupe's going to have the advantage here as well then. Sorry, Percy said, honestly, I have no luck in this whatsoever. I would have carried on, but I've been awake since 3 AM, so I'm a hop to bed. There we are then. So that is why Lucas Percy's out of the race. Well, he was given a helping hand, let's just put it that way. But yes, that was one way to end the Grand Prix for another driver. So there we are. And that is that then for Lucas Percy then. Sick as muck then with that escapade has had to pit for a front wing and is down to P16. Has got Ginger Rage all over the back of him as well. Now that's going to be more terrifying then for Sick as muck, sorry, than it is for Ginger Rage, I'd imagine. But there we go. As we head on to lap 30 now then, 29 laps remaining, no we don't, 21 laps remaining thankfully at the end of this one, and we cruise on to lap 30 now, and Young Lights has now got a 1.7 second lead. Then those medium compound tyres, just a 2 lap difference then is going to be, or 3 lap in this case, is going to be so much more helpful then for Young Lights then to realise when the drop off is then as well, because he's going to have those 2 behind him to use as a bit of a delta as well then to try and work out then when will be the optimum lap to pit. But if they're only going to do about 13 laps or so on the mediums, you're going to have another set of hard compound tyres to go on to now to try and get himself to the end of the Grand Prix from here. Then Reflection, I think, might be able to get himself to the end of the Grand Prix. He's going to have to do about 32 laps on those, or 31 laps on those hard compound tyres. Could be doable. We'll have to wait and see. Then Mushroom might be able to try and go for it as well then, as could the likes of Kiki and Kamara Racer in the Racing Bulls and Hungry Styles in the Red Bull as well then. So we'll wait and see how it's going to unfold. Then Sick as Muck has been passed by Ginger Rage. No, he's not, because Ginger Rage is off the circuit then at turn 1. He's gone a bit too deep there, has the McLaren then, and that has cost him then the position into the Ferrari. Then he's going to have to try and go again then for the next attack then down towards turn 3, but I think he's a bit too far back at this stage, so we'll have to try and recoup and go again. Talking of recouping, both the Williams are on a fresh set of mediums. That was fantastic indeed from me. If you heard that, then please clip that up. But you don't have to. Coupe then has trying to get himself back in this race then on a fresh set of medium compound tyres. And again, if we're seeing the mediums not lasting more than 50, or not lasting very well, then let's just say past 15 laps, then Coupe will have to pit again in this race then, which doesn't make sense to me. Equaz, I'm hoping that's a glitch then, and hoping that Equaz is also on fresh tyres, but he's lost quite a lot of time then to his teammates, so it would indicate that the tyres are not fresh. Yes, that is interesting stuff indeed. Right then, Gordo is trying to challenge. Is Gordo trying to challenge for P2 then into turn 1? Not quite then for the Aston Martin. He's all over the back of Legend into turn 2, and then heading in towards turn 3 with some more DRS then into the middle sector. Lewis Riley sets the fastest lap race, then passing Cam, then into P7. Then here comes the Aston Martin of Gordo, and I'm goodness me, I almost sneezed and burped and everything at the same time. Gordo can't get past there, so we have to come back to him. Here comes Cam. Then Cam has got himself into a bit of a fight then with Mushroom, Lewis Riley, and that's it. So as we go down towards sector, oh god, oh no, you can't, oh no, oh god, that is absolutely horrendous. And well, to be fair, they haven't lost that much, because they were very quick indeed in turning those cars around. But yeah, Cam went for the move around the outside, then Lewis seemed to turn in, then they got caught up with each other, and then they went straight on into the wall. Yeah, my goodness me, then that is unfortunate. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, I think Lewis has got more wing damage now to try and contend with as well than that Alpine. Unfortunately for the Alpine driver, then is not gone his way in this first half of the race. And hopefully he can get himself sorted onto a new front wing, a new set of tyres, and then it will go back in his way then for the final stint. Then at least because you only need to have one good stint then in this race, and then he can get himself back up into the points-paying positions really. So it's one of those tracks really, isn't it? Lewis has done a good job then, but he's under pressure. Oh goodness me, he's under pressure from Cam. Then down the inside goes Cam, aggressive indeed, and once again. I don't understand overtaking in Sector 2 around here because it's just not worth the risk, really, is it? But there we are, then he has managed to pull it off, then thankfully I think more to Lewis Riley's cooperation on that one than anything else as well then. But they have both lost out then to the DRS of the top 9 now of Reflection. And that's that really. So as we head down the main straight once again, then both of them then are going to reignite the fight. Let's just put it that way as well, into turn 1, and again, oh god, what is going on there? That is ridiculous, and yeah, unfortunately, that is not going to work out for either. But I don't know if I don't understand, because I'm just trying to figure it out in my head personally. You know, you've been involved in an incident. The first thing somebody on stream is going to do is look at the position changes, right? So if you're involved in an incident. Don't retaliate on that incident because you are going to be watched on stream when that happens. So I'm not quite sure what is going through people's brains on that one, but there we are. Right then. So there we go. So Gordo is now the closest fight on track then with Legend. R2B has picked up a 3-second penalty then into Sector 2 somewhere as well then, which is unfortunate for R2B. Then Cam has passed Justify into P11 for the Haas car. And that's good stuff indeed then as well. Right then, so Legend and Gordo then locked in a bit of a fight then for P2 and P3. Then they've got a 2.4 second gap then to Young Lights. The gap's not really extended as much as we thought it would then for Young Lights at this stage, but he's doing a good job then out in the race lead for the time being, then looking very good for a potential race win as it stands as well, as we cruise on to lap 33 then. So when will the pit window open if you're going to go for medium compound tyres? Then probably in the next 2 or 3 laps, then lap 35, lap 36 then, and then a 15 lap or so sprint to the finish. These drivers then on the medium compound tyres have already done 16, 17 laps, then will have to try and get themselves even further than in this stint if they want to get those medium compound tyres on their next stint then to the end of the Grand Prix, but we'll have to wait and see if that's possible first. So there we are then. Right. So it seems to be a lot of drivers out there with wing damage as well. Then they haven't realised they've got wing damage out there, and they're just cruising about then with some end plates missing as well. Then there's a right end plate missing on the Alpine of R2B. He's got himself back up into the top 8. Yellow flags for somebody. It's for somebody on the main straight, which is always concerning because it's a main straight. But they have got that sorted quickly enough then. Good stuff indeed then. And there is, I think that is Coupe and Justify then into turn 3. And all go on board them with the car, of course, on fresher, medium compound tyres than those around him, or those in the rest of the field as well, then, apart from Sicker's Mug then, and Ginger Rage, who are trying to catch up as well then. But Equaz, unfortunately, what's happened? I'm not quite sure what happened to Equaz. Then he pitted for a wing change. Then Equaz is being passed by, Justify is being passed by Coupe, into Sector 2. But he pitted for a wing change to Equaz. Then he's gone on to a new, or not a very new set, a very old set of medium compound tyres. Then so that is. Or odd, to say the least. Let's just put it that way. Then, so unfortunately, then for Equaz, he is well, the strategy or the race engineers have compounded his Grand Prix then with a very difficult strategy to try and withhold or uphold, I should say, as we go through into turn 1 once again. Then lap 34 then of 51. Then goodness me, I thought Gordo's gone off. Then he seemed to be all over the place. There did the Aston Martin driver. Then got himself recollected and sorted. I don't know if that's a word, but back underway and now trying to carry on with the fight then with Legend as well then. RTB trying to catch up with Kamara Racer. Then the difference in the hard compound tyres then is 5 laps then between the Racing Bull and the Alpine. Behind them, Reflection is on very much fresher, let's just say that, much fresher hard compound tyres than for Reflection, and looking to go to the end of the Grand Prix. Sick as much as past Hungry Styles. Hungry Styles has had a problem then on the main straight again. Into the pits comes Justify, then Justify calling it down on the hard compound tyre. He's got a wing change to try and sort out there as well. Then Hungry Styles, I'm not sure if he was involved in that or not, but Justify has had a wing change nonetheless then, so that is fantastic. I think he's on a new set of mediums then to the end of the Grand Prix from here, which is definitely doable now. He's the first man to try it. He's on a new front wing as well then for the Ferrari, then back underway then P17 for Justify, but hopefully he can get himself back in contention, let's just say then, with a new front wing and a new set of boots, then a new set of grip, a new bit of traction out of the corners that is a lot better than his old tyres, let's just put it that way as well then. Right, then heading through the last couple of kinks then of the lap then on lap 34, then 3.7 seconds the gap then out in front. Gordo is trying to catch up then, or trying to pass Legend then down towards turn 1 this time. He is a lot closer than 3/10 of a second as we go through onto lap 35 now, and this is where I think the pit window will definitely open now for those who are going to go for another set of mediums to the end of the Grand Prix from here. Justify has opened that door as well then with that change then onto the medium compound tyres for the Ferrari then on the previous lap then. Gordo has taken P2, Legend trying to fight back then down towards turn 3, but I think he's a bit too far back actually there. So good stuff indeed then. Right, what we're going to see here is the question then. Maybe we might even see some soft compound tyres. We'll have to find out then. What will we see at the end of this race is the question. So then, Reflection's done 13 laps then on his... Oh. Oh dear. Sorry about that, Reflection. I was going to say, Reflection's done 13 laps then on his hard compound tyres and is looking good. Well, I was about to say that, unfortunately. He's not got any damage, I don't think, then, but was looking good then to get himself in contention with the likes of R2 with Kamara Racer, with anybody else up the order, especially on medium compound tyres who tries to struggle on then on those medium compound tyres, which I think would be the wrong decision out here, especially with the length of the lap as well then. But yeah, unfortunately for Reflection, we've cursed him by trying to see how he was doing. So we will, well, I'm very sorry. I will... if I could just switch off any driver now and just watch the sky for the last 15 laps then to make sure I didn't curse anybody, I would. Unfortunately, that's not an option for me. So you're all in trouble then, basically. So there we go. So here we go then for Legend as well, then heading down the main straight once again then onto lap 36 then. Here he comes in with some actually, before the DRS is even activated, he's already alongside the Aston Martin of Gordo and crossing into lap 36 now, takes back P2 then ahead of the Aston Martin driver, and there we go then up into P2 position then. Good stuff indeed. Young Lights now got a 4.2 second gap in the lead of this Grand Prix, looking good indeed. Cam is back on the attack and back on the back of this Alpine of Lewis Riley. These two have had their comings together already in this race. Then R2B is in the pit lane and called it down the hard compound tyres now, so that's a very smart call, I believe, then for the Alpine driver. Then heading into turn 1 then, Cam lining up the move. No, not quite then. Lewis Riley, sorry, has oh dear, he's gone deep then, and that could open the door for Cam then to try and make a move then into turn 2. He's a bit far back then, trying to get a good exit out of turn 2 then to try and charge up to turn 3 then with some DRS, with some ERS to play with as well, and get himself cruising on by then into P8 now here as well. And this time they have done it. Good stuff indeed. So there we are then, heading into turn 4 and 5 then. I think Lewis was trying to go for the move back then, but realised that he was not going to be able to make that move, put it that way. To go down the hill then, Gordo then is trying to get himself back up into P2. Then these two carrying on their fight. So R2 beat, then R2, where is R2 beat come out? He's P14. He's on a fresh set of medium compound tyres. He's stuck behind Equaz now, who of course has pitted, but hasn't pitted at the same time really, because he's on old tyres then. So R2B is going to have to try and get himself through, but unfortunately in sector 2 is not the place to try and get past. It's not the place that's going to be easiest to pass as well then for the Alpine as we go through the castle section now. Let's see what we can do then at the next part of the lap then as we go through into the final few bits of sector 2, into sector 3 then. Oh dear, he's going to go, I wouldn't go side by side through there, but he's thought about it, but he hasn't gone for it. at least, and that's good stuff indeed. And so there we go. Ginger Rayton is in P15, then trying to get himself back in contention for this fight as well, then potentially could get himself dragged along then to the points paying positions. We will wait and see. 23 laps then for Equalizer's medium compound tyres, then I think there might be time to call it a day on those, if you can hear me, sir, because I think they might be a bit worse for wear. Let's just say that then. Coop and Riley then switching places then into turn 1, then Coop up into P9 now. Of course, Coop on 8 lap pressure tyres than Riley, and he's on 6 lap pressure tyres than New Zealand Cam, who's his next target. Ginger Ray's got himself past Equaz, then up into P14. Oh my god, Ginger Rage needs to slow the car down into turn 1. He has done just about then, but almost went to the back of R2B by then. That could have been a bit calamitous indeed. But there we are then, heading on to the next straight then. I think Ginger Rage is going to line up a move down here towards turn 3. Potentially for that P13 position, then harvesting energy then with R2B as we go into turn 3, then into the braking zone, slowing the car down, but Ginger Age thinks better of it, then doesn't want to lunge in this time then, and he has stayed in P14 for the time being, that is, but there's still time for him to make some moves further forward. Right then, speaking of further forward then, here's P2, here's P3 then. We're not really watching Young Lights because Young Lights is so far out in the distance, he's doing a great job. And he's got a 3.8 second gap then over the next two, which are these ones here. Gordo and Legend then into lap 38 very shortly as well then, and will there be some more pit stop action then? Will we see some more pit stop action then? Gordo is in the pit lane, so Gordo is calling it a day then on 21 lap old medium compact tyres. Goodness me, I've already forgotten what they are. Kiki takes P3 away then, Gordo into the box then. Unfortunately that means that Vessia is probably not advised to box on this lap then. Can he go round again then? Soft compound tyres going on Gordo's Ferrari, Gordo's Aston Martin. I saw the red and I thought it was Ferrari. So soft compound tyres going on then. Where will he come out then in this race then? He will be P6 then. There is Kamara coming through turn 1 then. Gordo is going to be out in P6 now on the soft compound tyres. Very good stuff indeed then. Equaz has stayed out with, well, unfortunately for Equaz, I don't know why he hasn't pit yet, but I think it'd be best to pit now and sort that out then. Coop has got himself past New Zealand Can then up into P8 now. Coop on those fresh and medium compound tyres, then R2B sets the fastest lap of the race, then he's in P13. Has passed Ginger Rage now, is trying to get him, so he has tried to catch up to Sick as Muck now, is now into turn 2, and I think we'll be trying to make a move then into turn 3 then with the aid of some DRS and some ERS then and some fresh tyres as well then, heading down towards turn 3. And yeah, okay, we're going to defend it. So let's defend it then. Says, oh god, says Sick as Muck then. He's tried to defend it then down the inside, but it's now still too wide into turn 4 as well here. Inside switches then to R2B. Now it switches again then to Sick as Muck then as we go into turn 5, and all that has done for both those drivers is lose them time. And I keep saying it because Sector 2 is not an overtaking place, but that is that. So there we are then. 3 seconds the gap there for Gordo then to try and catch up to Serious Mushroom then. The gap coming down pretty rapidly indeed then for the Aston Martin driver then. He's using those soft compound tyres on their outlet, on their first flying lap to their advantage already then, and he's gained so much time already on that one lap as well. It's a long lap then, so the advantage is going to be bigger as well then. Right then. Legend into the pits then from P2, then he's displaced by, or Kiki's gone through then into P2. I think Vessia is also in the pit lane as well, then hitting a lap later than his teammate then, and Gordo's going to retake that position, then Serious Mushroom up into the podium places then, but Serious Mushroom is going to be under pressure from those on the soft compound tyres going on then. Legend is onto the soft compound tyres coming out in P5. Kamara carries on then. Vessia is being held in the pit lane. No, he's not. He's teleported. So where will he come out then? Coop then coming down the pit straight. Then will he come out ahead of Vessia? It's going to be tight indeed then between the Aston Martin and the Williams. Then as go through turn 1. And he is out in P7. Then is Vessia. Good stuff indeed. RGB has been, Sick as Muck has been passed by, Ginger Rage has been passed by Sick as Muck, goodness me. And RGB has passed both of them then. So up into P12 now for R2B. Then 9 seconds the next gap then to Reflection then. And then a further second then to Lewis Riley. Then a further 10th or further 7 tenths then to New Zealand Cam as we go into turn 3 for the Haas and the Alpine, and we'll see where R2B can finish up then in this race as well then. So unfortunately for Mushroom, podium on the cards then looking good, but that gap is closing rapidly, corner by corner, then by a few tenths per corner as well then, because Gordo on the fresh soft compound tyres compared to 20 lap old hard compound tyres is not too much of a contest at this stage of the race then as well. Then as we head into Sector 3, he's going to get himself in DRS range, I would believe. Down the hill we go then already into that under that 1 second window then as well. So will we see any more pit stops then for the top of the order then in the top 3? Young Lights from the leader of the Grand Prix, then 7 seconds of the gap then to Kiki is into the pits then. So he has decided that the medium compound tyres will not get to the end of the Grand Prix from here. Then lap 40 has started. So there is 12 laps remaining in this race. Then Kiki retakes the lead. Then we saw him take the lead very early on then compared with the battling with the Williams pair then at the time. So we went through the first few laps in this race. Of course, it's a long race as well. Ginger Rage's got a 3 second penalty. Then somebody's got the fastest out of the race. I didn't see who it was popped up. I think it was a Haas then, potentially of Legend. No, it wasn't Legend. Who knows? Right, good stuff. And my nose is running. So fantastic. So Mushroom is now, he's come out ahead, sorry, behind Young Lights then. Where is he? Nope, there's Gordo. Gordo's going to go for the move then down the inside into turn 3. Then very late on the brakes on the fresh soft compound tyres compared to the old hard compound. And that is the benefit then of the fresher tyres as well then. Lewis, Riley and Cam still battling away. Reflection has joined the fight here as well then on his hard compound tyres. And they go through towards turn 3, I think that is. Yeah, goodness me, I couldn't tell where they were on the map. And yeah, they go through into turn 3 then, and that is oh no, as Lewis Riley's had a bit of an issue with the wall then. It was like then he's lost. No, he hasn't lost out. They're still going side by side through turn 4 and then into turn 5. Then this time the Haas gets ahead. Oh god, oh no, Lewis can't slow the car down, and now Reflection. Oh, Reflection's still there, and Reflection's gone through. And my goodness me, that could have got a bit more spicy indeed. There is his teammate of RTB in the background then as we go through sector 2 as well then. So it's looking good for the soft runners then. So Vessia and Gordo, both the Aston Martin then in good contention. Then we've got more yellow flags. Lewis Riley's had an issue. That could be a safety car here, and it's a virtual safety car here, I believe. Hopefully it's nothing more than that, to be honest, because I mean, yes, that doesn't look like a good incident. Let's just put it that way then, into the castle section then, which can get spicy, can get dangerous indeed. We've seen that before. Reflection has passed Cam under the VSC. Cam has gone on. What is going on here? Oh, it's pit stop action, thank God. Kiki into the pits then. He is calling it a day then on his hard compound tyres, as is Mushroom as well then. Kamara is also coming in to service that Racing Bull as well. Will we see Cooper into the pit lane then? Will we see Reflection into the pit lane? We will wait and see then. No, it's not going to be time now because they're already racing once again then. And so the time lost then is not going to be too much or too great then for those who have stayed out in this race. Kamara Race has taken an age to get that car serviced, and unfortunately that will demote him out of the top 10, I think, then, because R2B is going to take that P9 position. Goodness me, I was doing some sort of horse racing commentary then. But Sick as Muck and Ginger Rage and Cam into the pits as well. Unfortunately, Lewis out of the session there as well. Then after that big crash then in the castle section, it has been a difficult race then, of course. But it is a difficult race then. Naturally, then it is Azerbaijan. It is a street circuit. It is going to be difficult as a whole then. But there we are then. Out of the pits comes tomorrow then. R2B is into P9 and he's got himself back in the points paying positions. Good stuff indeed. Very well done indeed. There's soft compound tyre runners then. Let's have a look and see what's going on up here then, because this is the race lead then on lap 41 then of 51. Sorry, but so we've got 10 laps to go then at the end of this lap. So when they cross the start finish line, there's 10 laps left in this race. Then there's still quite a bit of a way to go then in terms of race distance. We will wait and see how it's going to unfold and who's going to cross that line first at the end of lap 51 then. But there's still quite a bit of racing to go here, and this could get spicy indeed then between the Aston Martin and the Kick Sauber. Then as here comes Gordo, he takes the lead with some DRS as well. Then down towards turn 1, Young Lights on the medium compound tyre. So that is interesting stuff indeed. Does he not think the soft compound tyres will make it to the end of this race from here, or from 2 laps ago then, or 3 laps ago? Potentially not. Then that could be a very good call though from Young Lights then, because if those soft compound tyres for Gordo and for Legend and for Kiki and for Vessia and Mushroom start to drop off then before lap 51, the medium compound tyres are going to be flying then, and in comparison then he will be able to get himself back past anybody that's got himself through then. The likes of Gordo, all he needs to do now is just try and keep up then for the next 8 laps or so, and then go for the attack then on the final lap of the Grand Prix then. Good stuff indeed for Kamara Racer, passing R2B into turn 1. R2B then of course then on 2 lap older medium compound tyres. We've got somebody locking up then, and that was Reflection. Then Reflection's got himself up into P8 now, and like I said, he had a bit of a spin there, didn't he? But we didn't see it. We didn't see it, Reflection, don't you worry. Nobody saw anything, and we can crack on. So there we go then, out of the cars section now, sorry, on lap 42 then. There is 9 laps remaining at the end of this lap as well then, so it's going to be closing in now on the twilight then of this Grand Prix as well then. It's been a fantastic race itself then. It's actually been quite a quick race actually as well then, to be fair. So well done then to the drivers then who have got themselves so far into this race as well then. They've done a fantastic job of putting on a show here tonight in Baku. Like I said, a very technical, it is a technical circuit, especially in Sector 2, but a treacherous circuit in terms of the proximity of the walls then, and getting one slight mistake can be incredibly costly indeed then for your race, as we found for 4 drivers unfortunately in this Grand Prix as well then. Right then, heading down towards the first turn then, Gordo set the fastest out of the race then, but Young Light's still within that DRS window, and all he needs to do is, I think for the next 3 laps, like I said, to stay in that window as well then, so that he can get dragged along then by the DRS then, by the Aston Martin, then slipstreaming him of course down towards turn 1 then, and heading towards turn 3 as well here. House of Legend then P3, looking good so far then. 4 seconds back is Kiki then, who's done a good job in this race. Vess here in P5 then, Mushroom up into P6 then, brilliant stuff from him then. Coop in P6 then, R2 Beat has passed Kamara Racer then. Once again these two carrying on their fight then for that P9 position onto lap 43 now, and into P9 goes R2 Beat this time then in the Alpine, then takes away that place then from the Racing Bulls of Kamara Racer, and they've got a 7-second gap then. Ginger Age going to go round the outside. Oh god, oh my dear, oh god, Ginger Rage is absolutely horrific. That was horrendous. Just Jesus Christ. Well, to be fair, nothing. That was probably worse that's happened in this race. Actually, there has been worse that's happened in this race. So never mind. Ginger Rage, fantastic move. Brilliant stuff indeed then. And well done. I've been to P11 now. 8 seconds then off the top 10. Can he get himself into contention here for another points-paying finish then for the McLaren driver? Right then, Young Lights then is yeah, well, we'll come back to that. let's just leave it there. Young Lights then is staying within that 1 second window. Then, like I said, he just needs to, if we've seen the medium tires drop off around that 13 lap old tires, around 13 to 15 laps then for the medium compound tires. Medium compound tires for Young Lights will get to the end of the Grand Prix from here, no problem. But will the soft compound tyres, will they drop off earlier than that then? We would expect so then, but is the question, can they do another 7 laps then before they drop off then? Or is the question, they've already dropped off then for Gordo, because now Young Lights is pushing. Young Lights is putting the pressure on then down towards turn 3. Then here he comes then in the kickstart, but then can he line up a move then down the inside into turn 3? Not quite then, I don't think, for Young Lights. He stays behind. Then the gap now coming down though in the background. 3.7 seconds, then 4 seconds back to Kiki. Vessia then 9 seconds back on the fresher soft compound tyres, as is Mushroom then trying to catch up to Vessia for that P5 position here as well. Coop then, I think, struggling on out there on the medium compound tyres, unfortunately for Coop then. It is not worked out. I think needed to pit under that VSC as well. Reflection has for the hard, he stayed on the hard compound tyres, is now under pressure from R2 Beat and from Kamara as we go down towards turn 3 here. R2 Beat might be looking for that P8 position as we go down towards turn 3 as well. Cam sets the fastest down the race on the soft compound tyres, down the inside, diving down the inside, goodness me, then goes both the Alpine and the Racing Bull driver, then passing the Mercedes into turn 3, and they have got themselves their position as well. Oh, goodness me. Right then, Sick as Muck and Ginger Rage going to carry on their battle. Yes, yeah, these two carrying on their battle. Good stuff indeed. Right then, Mushroom then is into the DRS window of Vessia as well. Then Vessia could be under pressure then for that P5 position in the next few corners or so then, as we head onto the main straight here. Here comes Young Lights then looking to line up a move then for that P1 position, getting himself back in the race lead. Hungry Styles is in the pit lane. Unfortunately, he's a lap down now, is the Styles. But there we go then, as Young Lights takes the lead, then takes P1 then into turn 1, and those medium compound tyres I think are now fired up fully then to try and challenge then for the race win here tonight then. Lap 45 of 51. We have got some laps to go. I think we've got seven laps to go. I'm not quite sure. Vessia's got himself, Mushroom's got himself past Vessia. Wrong way around then for me, but there we go then. Vessia, or wrong way around for Vessia, but Mushroom then is definitely the right way around. As we go into turn 2 now, Vessia has dropped down to P6, then Mushroom up into P5. Can he hold off the attacks then from the Aston Martin down towards turn 3, then harvesting energy? So I think Vessia is going to go for the move there down towards turn 3. No, he stays behind for the time being. Of course, he's got 2 lap older tyres than the McLaren driver for this moment in time, that is. Oh, we we would expect that to be the same actually to the end of the Grand Prix. It will always be 2 laps younger or 2 laps older, depending on which driver you're talking about. So there we are. Through the castle section we go. Then Gordo now putting the pressure on Young Lights then this time. Equaz has been passed by New Zealand Cam. Then Equaz has done 32 laps then on the medium compound tyres, so they might be. Let's just say that they might not be in the best condition now, as Styles then is going slowly for some reason. There we are then. And causing more yellow flags out there as well, which is definitely not what we want to see into the castle section then, especially if you're a driver flying around this circuit then at high breakneck speed then, because yeah, anything like that will be very distracting indeed. Heading down to the main straight then, here comes Young Lights and Gordo once again then as we go on to lap 46 of 51. 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51. 6 laps to go then as we start off lap 46 now. As we head into turn 1 then, Gordo has retaken the lead. And again, there's yellow flags. And if usually Cam's out of the race, then Cam's had a problem. Then at the top of the castle section, he's what? I'm not quite sure what has happened there. I'm not quite sure what's happened to Justify either, to be honest. But he's got himself sorted. But Cam's car has been cleared up already. Then we couldn't see what happened then with Justify then. But out of the race then for Cam. And, well, virtual safety car again then, so will we see anybody stop under this VSC? Let's wait and find out then. Reflection staying out then, both the the Alpine of RTB and Kamara Racer in the Racing Ball staying out. Ginger Rage is staying out, I think. Yes, Sick as Muck is coming in. So there he is then into the pit then from the Ferrari driver then into the box then. Will Equaz come into the pits as well then, because I think Equaz might want to use this to try and get onto a fresh set of tyres. But no, Equaz is coming in as well then. Good stuff indeed. So 33 laps then on a medium compound tyre is doable around here. We found out. And there we go then. So right then, VSC, well the second VSC of the evening, I think. Unless it's the third VSC. It is the, well, we've had 1 safety car and 2 or 3 VSCs. We're not sure how many VSCs. Drive-through penalty for Sickers not coming out the pit lane there. Unfortunately, will be added on to his, well, we'll have to serve that unless he, oh dear, he's crashed into, no, it's Justify, he's crashed into the wall then at turn 2. Goodness me, the Ferrari's not having a good time up there, and Justify has lost a right end plate then as well. And going to have to try and get that sorted for the Ferrari driver, unfortunately. Oh, we've got a driver of the day then. Young Lights, Kiki, Gordo and Mushroom are your candidates then for driver of the day. We'll have a look at the position changes here. And they've just changed because Young Lights has taken the lead then from Gordo and has got himself up into P1 now and reclaimed the lead then. Has Young Lights then 47 of 51, then 5 laps to go here in this Grand Prix as well then. I am getting a bit tired, so hopefully they can finish it off quickly enough. Vess here is back past Mushroom then for P5. More yellow flags, and it's a safety car. What the hell has gone on here? It's Justify, it's the castle section, it's a safety car then to end off this Grand Prix, and my goodness me, this is going to get interesting. Let's just say that. Let's just say it's going to get interesting, right? Pit stops then for everybody pretty much, I think, will be the next phase of the order then. We'll catch up to the safety car queue. We'll have a look at the tyre compounds then. Of course, everyone's going to go on the soft compound tyres, and the top 6 will yet to pit because they passed the safety car. But we'll be going round then adhering to a delta. So we're going to have about 2 laps of racing then from lap 40, sorry, beginning of lap 50, end of lap 49, the safety car will be in then. Beginning of lap 50, we'll be restarting then, and we'll have 2 laps, lap 50 and then lap 51 of green flag running to end off this Grand Prix. Then I'm going to have a quick break then because my voice is dying. Right then, we are back. We are back for more, and here we go then. we have got some pit stops then. Young Lights into the pits. Gordo has stayed out, so Gordo has taken the lead, but of course is unfortunately on older tyres, that is. But Young Lights then onto a fresh set of soft compound tyres. Legend onto a fresh set of softs. Kiki onto a fresh set of softs, as is Vessia, as is Mushroom. Coop then coming through the kinks then of the final couple of corners of the lap, then I think will be out, but unfortunately will not be able to catch up to Mushroom and to Vessia coming out of the pit lane now, so they will stay status quo then for the final couple of laps of this race. And we will wait to get ourselves resumed then for this Grand Prix as well. Then Styles back in the pits, and now onto another set of soft compound tyres then for the Red Bull driver, as he's onto a new set of soft compound tyres as well. Right then, safety car then will be catching up the queue. Yeah, well, you weren't in the castle section, to be fair, Cam. He says he's had an issue at the castle section. You were at the top of the castle section there, so it was a bit of an odd place. It wasn't here, it was at the, around there, sort of thing. Like, a bit of another one that. But yeah, anyway, right, Cam out of the race then anyway, but that is 5 retirements already in this Grand Prix. I think, unfortunately, for Justify and for Hungry Styles, they are a lap down. Yeah, Justify's a lap down there, which is a bit of a shame. Well, he's only 1 car lap down, so hopefully if Gordo moves out of the way, then, then Justify can get himself through and back through past the safety car as well. Yeah. It's, like I said, Gordo then has taken the lead of this Grand Prix and is now, of course, now is technically the net race leader, because he doesn't have to pit again. That would be stupid to pit again now, but he will be under a bit of pressure, let's just say, then on much older tyres compared to everybody, really, as we go through the final laps of this race. We're going to be on lap 49 then, so it will come in at the end of lap 49 regardless of if everyone's caught up to the queue or not then, because we're going to have lap 50 and 51 of green flag racing. So whether everyone's caught up or not, then it will give up on waiting and it will get itself sorted and back underway then. So the likes of Reflection, the likes of Ginger Age and Sick as Muck need to get themselves caught up to the safety car queue pronto, otherwise it will leave them in the dust. The wall on the left and front wheel came off, says Cam. Well, yeah, that is the castle section. Unfortunately, it is a brutal part of the circuit. It is the most brutal part. To be fair, some people might say it's the most brutal part of the on the calendar, to be honest. But that is the castle section in a nutshell. Then Sick as Muck is back in the pit lane here for a fresh set of softs. Then he might. Will he get out in front of... well, there is Equaz then coming down the main straight now then, so unfortunately he will lose out to Equaz. He will have 3 lap younger tyres than Equaz, but unfortunately in a 2-lap sprint, which this is going to end up as, which I'm dreading, then it might not make much of a difference then. Equaz, with no penalties at the moment, could get himself back into contention for some points-paying positions here in the championship lead, of course. His rival of R2B has got a penalty to his name. We'll have a look at the penalty situation now. It's 3 seconds then for R2B, Kamara and Reflection, who are currently in the top 10. 6 seconds, unfortunately, for Ginger Rage. Drive-through for Sick as Muck then. Didn't see that then, but goodness me. Justify's got a 3-second penalty as well then. So that is the penalty situation then for those who have got them. Everybody else has either served the penalties or sorted themselves out then. And that is that then. Right, right then, we'll get ourselves back underway at the end of this. Is it lap 48? Oh, it's lap 49, of course, yeah, the lap cars. Right then, so, oh dear, yeah, I think we're all right. Good stuff indeed. Right, safety car will be in this lap now, and we will be able to get ourselves back underway for some green flag running then at the end of this lap then. 2 laps to go to the end of the Grand Prix, and that'll be it then for this Azerbaijan Grand Prix as well then. So here we go then for a sprint finish. Just about the well, the only title you can give this one, for the 2-lap race at the end of this one. But we will get ourselves ready to restart then here in Baku then for lap 50 and then lap 51 then as we cruise through the final corners. And unfortunately, the Gordo is not leaving much space then to the safety car at this rate. Safety car is going to peel away into the pit lane hopefully very soon. And Gordo is gone, has he? Gordo is gone, I think, then, but he's going to be limited then, unfortunately, because he's not going to be able to pass the safety car here. That was a bit of a... well, no, he hasn't gone, but he's gone quickly. And, oh my God, then, and Vessi has crashed into somebody on the restart, and this is why I hate safety car restarts, man. Young Lights has lost out. There's contact with Vessi and Young Lights again, and Young Lights has got a 10-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags then, and this is... oh my God. Oh my god, then absolutely ridiculous stuff, isn't it, indeed? And that's just how to ruin people's restarts then as well. There's ghosting cars as well. There's all sorts of things going on here. Heading down the inside, then goes Ekbaz, then into P9, into turn 3, then up into the points paying positions as well. Then good stuff from Ekbaz, then trying to go around the outside of R2 Beat, but R2 Beat slams the door shut then from the Alpine driver. 1.5 seconds the gap then for Gordo. Unfortunately for Gordo, he's going to be well, I'm not sure if it was Gordo's fault, but he's going to be under investigation then for that restart. Unfortunately, then as Sick as Muck and Justify both having issues then in the Ferrari, but I think they are, well, they haven't been lapped cars. I think Sick as Muck is still on the lead lap actually, but unfortunately Justify and Hungry Stars, they're both off the lead lap. Let's just put it that way. So there we go then, lap 50 of 51. And what a way to end it then. So Carnage then at the safety car restart. Who'd have thought of that then on onto lap 50 to restart the race then, as Legend trying to catch up then to Gordo. He's going to easily catch up, I think, then with the extra grip then on this soft compound tyres. Young Lights then has got a penalty for his name as well. He hasn't got any wing damage as far as we can tell. Vessia was also involved in that, it looked like. And he will be looking at that restart as well then under that safety car. And as we go down the main straight, then here comes Serious Mushroom then and Kiki then looking to get moves on the Aston Martin down towards turn 1 then, both of them side by side into turn 1. And Kiki has gone so up into P4 then, brilliant stuff indeed then. Like I said, there's going to be all sorts of challenges going on then. DRS then available now for Legend, heading down towards turn 3 then. Is he going to make a move then on the final straight then, down towards the start-finish line on the final lap then? Here we are then onto the final lap here as well, as we cruise through into turn 3 then. Serious Mushroom then stays P5, Vessia P6, then Coop into P7, then R2 Beat P8, Equaz P9, then Kamara Racer, P10, Reflection P11, then Ginger Rage P12. Sick as Muck then I think is going to be disqualified because he has to serve a drive-through penalty, I believe, doesn't he? Yes, he does. So that might be a time penalty added onto his race time in the end then, but it won't affect his position, unfortunately, then for Sick as Muck there. Right then, out in front, then here comes Legend, then trying to line up a move, then can he get the race win here? Gordo has got much older tyres by over, or just what is 10 laps now, 10 lap difference then between the tyres of Legend and Gordo as we go through into Sector 3 very shortly. This is the final time we'll be going through here then, hopefully, or finally, thank goodness, for my evening. There we are, then heading down the hill now. For the final time into Sector 3. Now for the final time. This is where the battery is so important. Then Justify picks up a penalty. Then here he comes in. Here comes the attack now from Legend and from Young Lights on Gordo as we go through the last two kinks of the circuit, of the race itself. Here we come. We go down the main straight. Then DRS is going to be available. Then ERS available. Then Gordo has got a 4/10 of a second gap. Is it enough then to hold on to the race lead, to the race win here? Here comes Legend on the attack. Then it's going to be close indeed. It is close. It's Legend who wins the Grand Prix. We don't know what the gap was. It's 38 thousandths of a second then between Gordo and Legend then, and Lights takes the fastest lap of the race as well then. Kiki P3, I think Lights has got a penalty then. Gordo in P2, but Legend takes the crown here in Baku by 38 thousandths of a second, and that was mightily close indeed. And the DRS and ERS to the line have just got it then for the Haas driver. Then he claims the victory here in Azerbaijan by the slightest of margins, and wow. Wow, absolutely brilliant. Fantastic stuff indeed then from Legend. Then it was Gordo in P2 for the Aston Martin driver, Aston Martin outfit, I should say. Then fantastic indeed from Gordo as well then, and I believe Kiki then in P3, but I think there might be some things to be looked at then after that race restart, so safety car restart as well then at the end of that race then. But there we go then for the top three. There is your classification. Then we'll run through the whole classification very shortly. Young Lights and Gordo then joint driver of the day then as well then. Fantastic stuff indeed then from them. So there is your top sitter, podium sitter. It is the Haas of Legend then reserving tonight then in place of Mumford. Has got the race win here in Baku. Gordo in P2 for the Aston Martin then, and Kiki then provisionally, I think we'll have to say then, on P3 for the Racing Bull team as well then. But nonetheless, a fantastic end of the race then for those three drivers as well. Then we'll have a look at the classification very shortly as well. But there we are then. Legend wins the race. Gordo P2. Kiki provisionally P3 then, but there might be some penalties to be looked at then for the likes of Lights and somebody else there as well. Mushroom then in P4, then Coop P5, Equaz P6, then RTB P7, Camaro P8, Reflection at P9, Young Lights P10. But again, there is some reviewing going on there. Ginger Age P11, then Vessia P12, then Sick as Muck P13, Justify P14. Justify out of the... no, it was a lap down. Then Hungry Stars a lap down as well. Then Cam, Lewis Riley, Lucas Percy, Jenna, and Dark Shadow out of the Grand Prix earlier on in this race as well. Fantastic stuff indeed. Right, then we will get ourselves some interviews underway, I think, shall we? And load ourselves into the interview screen. We'll start off with Kiki. I think Kiki has joined us then. Kiki, it's Baku at the end of the day. Then how was that race for yourself? And can you describe it in a few words?
It was good until the VSC came out when I was on the hards. I should have stayed on the hards, but I pitted, put me fourth, and then that safety car restart at the end. Don't know what happened. I don't know if Legend braked, Young Lights braked, and then I smashed in the back of Legend, and then gave me wing damage.
Yeah, it looked like absolutely the epitome of a fantastically poor restart. Let's just put it that way. Obviously we'll have to look at that after the race. Then I'm sure we will. A nutshell, then you got yourself. Well, it looks like provisionally another podium, at least potentially a P4 on the cards. At least another good result then for yourself and the Racing Bull team. Then, and you're doing all right then in the Racing Bulls in the last couple of races.
To be honest, mate, I was so comfortable out in front as well. Like I was saving my ERS so good. Then that VSC came out and I just should not have pitted, but I did, and yeah. So if I didn't pit under the first VSC, I would have been first in the next one. But obviously, you don't know what's going to happen in the game. But yeah, like I say, don't mind it.
It's the lottery then, I think, of Baku, isn't it, as well, then trying to predict after that as well. So fair play indeed then to get yourself on the podium at the end of that one as well then. And we've got another fantastic circuit next week then, which is Singapore before the break week. 3 weeks after Singapore, I think will be fantastic indeed, especially recover after commentating on it. But what's your thoughts then for that track then next week? And he's gone. All right then.
So you're talking to me?
We'll go on to Gordo then. Gordo P2 tonight then. Fantastic result then from yourself in the Aston Martin. You were battling all over the place there for quite a while then for yourself. And then at the end of that race, and you were on the soft compound tyres that you hadn't pitted on, and everyone else was on fresh tyres. What were you thinking at the end there? At the end of that race?
I was solely just thinking about try to win it, to be honest. Obviously that didn't work, but in my mind I thought if I pitted and came out second with the pace that Young Lights had, that there'd have been no chance. So I thought I might as well try something, and it obviously kinda worked, but that was mainly the thought process behind it.
And do you know what happened at the safety car restart on that final, the last couple of laps then? Because it was absolutely horrible behind you.
Right. I'll try. So I tried to keep it relatively slow, then went quite early and slightly misjudged that, and the game slowed me down quite a bit as I caught up to the safety car, and then I didn't actually see what happened behind me, to be honest. I heard on the stream it didn't particularly sound great, so I might have been at fault for that. I really don't know, to be honest. I'll need to have a look and see it, the footage or whatever.
It's very honest of you, but to be fair, I think it was something else. That was I just wondered if you saw anything behind it. That was all. But nonetheless, another podium for yourself then, and Aston Martin. Then you're still in the charge for the top three in the order. And how is that fight holding up for you? Then are you getting excited about that, or are you just hoping taking it race by race then in this one?
No, it's good. I like having that being there or thereabouts. Obviously, still a decent bit off after beating Equaz, but I also gained a few points in them both today, and hopefully I can stay in there, but don't know. I mean, they're both quick, do you know what I mean? So I'll just need to play it race by race and see how it goes.
Fair play indeed then, and well done then for another podium then here tonight. Unfortunately, our race winner of Legend hasn't joined us for the podium interviews, but congratulations then to Legend, then P1 in the Haas tonight as well then, and congratulations again once again then to Gordo in P2 with the Aston Martin, and to I've forgotten who was P3. Kiki P3, sorry Kiki, in the Racing Bulls then tonight as well then, to round off the Azerbaijan Grand Prix for 100% distance as well then. So blimey, that was it felt long for me as well then, so it must have felt long for the drivers for sure. We'll be in Singapore next week then, so one final challenge then before the 3-week break as well, and for all divisions that is, and head into a nice few weeks off. So stay tuned to ALR. There is still more action coming up then before the break week, so we've got some Azerbaijan action then for bronze, silver and gold, and then of course the Singapore 100% race as well then. So stay tuned to ALR, plenty more action coming up then, and we'll see you very soon.